Today's episode of the Aaron Land Podcast is brought to you by AG1 and our old friends Babbel. Of course, this is not the Aaron Land Podcast. This is the Nateland Podcast. I'm here with Dusty Slay, Brian Bates, and in lieu of Nate Bargatze, we have an old friend, our old pal, the apple of our eye. Greg Warren is in the building, everybody.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, man? Happy to have you back. You're a fan favorite. Everyone likes you more than us.
I don't know about that.
Well, I do, because I read all these comments.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people we've covered wanted you instead of Dusty. I mean, but... Yeah,
but
that would have lasted for like a day.
But you lived in St. Louis. That's the only reason. That's the only reason it worked out.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't offered the position, Dusty. I would have moved for that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad they didn't pitch it to you.
I would have transferred.
Yeah, I think they thought you wouldn't move, so I'm glad they pitched it to you.
If Nate would have covered some moving expenses,
yeah,
like the moving van or whatever.
You might even just be able to sleep in here.
Yeah, I'm real comfortable in here.
Yeah.
I was just watching the draft. That's been like the Major League draft, the NHL draft, all recently. If you were a young, just finished comedy school, what city would you want to be drafted to for comedy?
Ooh.
Nashville.
Well, let's say other than the city you currently live in.
Yeah, I would say. Well, it's interesting, right? Because you don't want to go with the best comedy scene because you're not going to get on stage.
Right.
Unless you got insane confidence and insane ability, which that happens.
Yeah. Because you started in St. Louis, went to New York, and then they kicked you out and you came back home, right?
No, I had about 9 cities, man.
Really?
Houston, and then Cincinnati, and then living on the road, L.A., St. Louis, New York, St. Louis. I think... Nashville's awful good, but I think now there's a lot of stage time here, right? Like you can get up every night.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than it's ever been. I'd have to guess.
I got a wild card I'll throw out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Louisville.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
I'm not talking about
the Oakland A's of cities. You're going to get drafted to
I'm talking about for comedy. They've got 3 different comedy clubs there.
Yeah, they do.
And they're all, so you get on stage off there. And it's a good central location in the middle of America. You can get to a lot of cities pretty quick.
Yeah, that being said, I would say St. Louis, actually. I'm not saying stay there for too long, but there's 3 clubs. And they're very local heavy with the support acts, and there's a lot of opportunity to get stage time, a lot of opportunity to get weeks. There's probably not as many like indie shows as you guys have. You can get on stage every night here with an indie show, right?
Between Chicago and Nashville, it's you could live anywhere in there and be in a good location to travel.
Wait a minute.
That's what I think. Chicago would be a great spot.
So Effingham? I mean, what?
Well, that might not be a good city. But
you're saying just radius-wise?
Kokomo, Indiana.
Yeah, you could travel and hit lots of different cities.
Yeah, pretty much the
anywhere
Midwest.
In there, yeah.
Yeah, I think I had one and I forgot. Oh, Phoenix has got a zillion comedy clubs.
It does.
Yeah, and you're not that far from L.A., but I kind of like what you're saying. I would say somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's too hot in Phoenix to be there all the time. That's what I think. I like it, but it's too hot.
I was just trying to think of a city that's got enough clubs you can.
Well, I'm just saying you got
get on the road.
You got to weigh out all the things, right? I mean, are we just picking it just based on comedy, or are we looking at other stuff?
I think that's the point of this.
Well, listen, exercise. Man. I mean, I'm going to say right now, if you want to start being a comedian, that's all you need to think about is comedy.
Yeah, Dusty.
You can't
put in the work.
You got to be.
That's why you're not going to make it. Charleston.
I'm just saying, if we're asking to be drafted to a good comedy city, you got to weigh out some other. Like, like Denver is a great comedy city,
great comedy city.
But you're not close to anything if you want to get out of there.
You're not working the road, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, but you're saying other stuff. If you're thinking you're going to like get drafted first round and go be a great comedian, and you move to a city because you like the opera scene there and you like their zoo, like you can't.
But
you got to be focused, man. First 10 years.
Do they have a good opera scene? Do they have a good zoo? And do they have a good like San Diego? Maybe that's the best of all three of those.
If you're hanging out at the zoo 3 days a week, you're not getting on stage. And I'm telling you right now, you're not going to make it in this business.
Who hangs out at the zoo?
What if you end up writing a lot of zoo jokes?
Well, I mean, I didn't think about that.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, San Diego, you're trapped against an ocean.
I haven't seen a good zoo comic in a while.
I know you don't see enough of it.
Yeah.
That's really a market that is not being hit.
Yeah,
no,
I'd give you that.
You could do a zoo tour.
Once again, I'm going to put a word in for St. Louis. We got top 3 or 4 zoos.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard anyone talk about the St. Louis Zoo.
Well, then you haven't been paying attention.
No, it's a great zoo. It's free.
It's free.
How up on the zoos are you though?
It's a free zoo.
I mean, people talk about zoos around me. I listen
Give me
in.
the ones they talk about because I know
Columbus, Ohio,
Yes.
San
Cincinnati?
Diego.
Yeah, you're missing one.
Cincinnati?
Not Cincinnati.
St. Louis.
I'm not other than St. Louis. St. Louis is right in there with those.
So Chicago's got one that's free. It's not great.
I petted a
Indianapolis?
camel in Cincinnati.
What?
I petted a camel in Cincinnati.
At a zoo?
Not at a zoo.
Or is that just on the street?
Outside of Go Bananas.
He smoked a camel in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Omaha, guys. Omaha's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
You're right.
that.
I did a show.
No, I knew that.
I did a show in the Omaha Aquarium at the zoo. It was a night show. Got to hang out. It was pretty cool. Man.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't get that kind
Where's
of.
the good aquarium market?
Man,
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Chattanooga.
Chicago's got a great aquarium.
Yeah,
I think Boston does too.
Did you do the show? Was the
Great
the Great Lakes
they could
Aquarium?
use some other entertainment. In
The backdrop of your show was like a beluga whale.
It was a conference room with. First of all, you're not getting a beluga whale in an aquarium, are you?
Oh yeah, the Atlanta Aquarium has one.
Really?
They have a beluga whale. Yeah.
Now that's impressive.
It's not as exciting as you would think, though. I saw it and I was like, well, "This is cool," but at this point, it's like looking at it on TV. Really, to me, it is.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
this guy's tough.
I will say, man, I've did some cruises there for a while, and that Alaskan cruise, there's a day where you just sit there on the boat and you just watch whales all day long.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
I see. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you need to do, man.
So Fairbanks, maybe that's where we need to get drafted.
If you get drafted to Fairbanks, it's gonna be a long road.
So, do we think Louisville is that's the number one draft spot for comedy?
I mean, I think so.
Well, I'm in Louisville in 2 weeks, so I kind of regret trashing it so bad. I should say the people there are lovely.
There are.
I mean, Salt Lake City's got 3 wise guys.
Salt Lake City's a great place to start
one.
because Keith he uses his local guys, and it's it's
also a fun city.
Yeah, but again, a little isolated.
Yeah, it is a little isolated.
You got to get on a plane to go do a road gig.
There is a college that I did there south of Salt Lake City, Mormon school. I forget what it was called. SLC.
That's the
Salt Lake College. Is that the airport?
It's airport code, man.
You never left the airport.
Yeah.
Who's booking the Salt Lake City airport?
It's the Wolverines. I know it's the Wolverines.
That's Michigan.
Well,
what the Mormon school is down there south of?
Was it Utah Valley?
Utah Valley.
Brigham Young. Oh, Utah Valley's not a Mormon school, I don't think, is it?
Everybody that took me to lunch at the Applebee's was Mormon.
Well, it's a state school. It's called Utah Valley State. I don't think
Utah Valley University, UVU.
Yeah, you're right.
UVU.
Maybe not. Got a good wrestling.
They were like, you got any questions? And I was like, are you all Mormon? And they were like, yes, we are. Yeah. That's really all I had. But
conversation ended right there.
Yeah, that sounds like some Bates crowd work right there. Because Bates, he just asked some questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I did some Monday. No, it was Dustin Nickerson's show last weekend we were on.
Yeah.
And I asked somebody in the audience, who's from out of town? Somebody said, we're from Illinois. And I'm like, Chicago? And they go, no. And I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, who else?
Man, this guy's good.
They go,
he just moves right on to the next one.
And they were like, Maryland. And I had nothing to say about Maryland.
So you got a built-in Chicago joke? And you're like, Chicago? No. Okay.
I mean, exactly what?
You had even less to say about Maryland. You don't even know a city in Maryland to follow up with.
Baltimore, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Chicago, though?
Yeah.
There's a home video that I have where my mom is filming and in this, like, she's like just filming these people in Gatlinburg and they turn and look and she's like, smile, you're on camera. And then she goes, where are you from? And they were like, Pittsburgh. She goes, oh, great. Like I don't even know why she asked. She had nothing to say.
She came from the Bates school.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I did the Opry this weekend and I closed on a joke about bombing at a church and launching into a fake testimony about being addicted to drugs.
What?
It's a really funny story.
What?
It's my closer, Greg. That's not the funny part.
Yes, it is, man. That's hilarious.
Well, thank you.
And that's not. It's a little underhanded, isn't it? Like I don't.
It doesn't go that well on stage, but it killed. Killed right now.
But I'm imagining it probably didn't go that well with the church.
Well, I don't do it at a church.
Well, I'm just saying,
at the church, they didn't know it was fake, though. They were like, he's
right.
really doing.
So you were just like, it's going bad, and you're like, yo, I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
And was it true what you told him?
This don't get in the weeds.
He's not trying to burn his closer on the podcast.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I don't want to tell the whole thing.
I don't want to let him behind the curtain.
Can I get to the point of the story, Greg?
Yeah. I'm sorry, buddy. It's just it's a lot.
So you're at Opry Mills.
So it does. That's what I call it. It does great at the Opry. The next guy following me, it's his debut at the Opry. His name's Ben Fuller.
Oh.
And when the announcer introduces him, he said, "This guy is a Christian artist. He overcome 14 years of drug addiction, blah, blah, blah." And my ears start peeking up like, uh-oh. And then he goes out there and sings a song about how Jesus saved him, gets a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Then he shares his testimony on stage about how he was basically tells exactly what I just said in the joke. And the audience is crying. He's crying. Then the announcer even brings him over and talks to him. He's like, "Well, we had two testimonies tonight. One from Brian, one from you." I'm so thankful, first of all, that I went first because I would not have been listening to what he was doing beforehand.
Right.
And I would have went out there afterwards. And they just all thought I was mocking him. Even so, it felt a little bit somehow, even though I went first, like I was mocking him.
Yeah.
To the point where afterwards I was like, "Hey, man, I had no idea that in your story." He was very cool about it.
And he's like, "I made it up too."
He's like, "I've never done a drug in my life."
Yeah.
But it was quite funny.
Yeah, man. I want to see this. I want to see the
It's
story.
a good bit.
Yeah.
Should we get into these comments?
Sure.
What do you think? You got the comments here. These come from, by the way, we're asked a lot. These come from Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast reviews. And if you want to send us an email, that's very easy to do. Just email us at nateland@natebargatze.com. First comment.
You know what?
Yeah.
These are the wrong comments.
Are they really?
This is this
is last
this seems
week's
like
comment?
last week's comments. Yeah,
they are.
See, it's normally Nate who prints these out and gets everything set up for us. So when he's not in town, the whole charade just
what about
collapses.
this? Where were you guys at last week?
Oh, where you been? Where you going?
Yeah, where were you guys at? I went to Toledo, Ohio, to to the Funny Bone. Had a great time.
Club.
Yeah, it was a hot weekend. Yeah, it was great. Nothing to report really. People were very nice.
Hotel right across the street. Only one elevator was working and the pool was shut down. But so that was a little disappointing. Oh yeah, man.
You like a hotel pool?
I don't get in, but I like it to be open.
You like to have the option?
Yeah, I like it to be open. It feels like the hotel's doing well.
Yeah, man, it feels like fun.
If it's open, yeah.
I'm staying in a hotel here. Last night, I walked by. I was like, man, these guys are having a great time.
Yeah, you like to see it.
Yeah.
You like to see people enjoying their lives.
Yeah, man. I don't get in there, but
you're right. You go. That does look fun, and it makes you feel good about the country when you see people having fun
on the road.
Yeah. But, I'm just in my room, going, I wish it would rain so I don't feel bad about being in here.
Yeah. It's kind of a little cul-de-sac of a mall there.
Yeah.
Nice Starbucks right down the road.
Juice place. Got a nice pizza. Oh, Juice.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
They had this one restaurant called Hangover Easy. That's what it was called, but they were really dumb name, I think. And they were really...
Oh, I like the pun.
Yeah, but they were...
It's
really
not bad.
Using the initials to Hangover Easy, HOE, for everything in the restaurant.
Is this I'm not getting the pun. Is it a breakfast place?
Like you're like
over
hungover.
Easy, like eggs.
Okay,
but hangover.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we're all drunk, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But they were using the initials HOE for everything.
Okay.
Which I always talk to Will O'Donnell, a guy about that, because we always hate how restaurants are like making everything like dirty. Like you take your kids in, now you got to explain to your kids what HOE is. I was reading the menu and they go, get eggs with some hoe fries. And I'm like, is this a typo? Like you meant to put home fries in?
No.
And then instead of homemade, it just said homemade. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's how I want my food made.
No. It was, I don't know. That's you don't want to put You don't
people
want
can
to
do whatever they
label
want.
hose, like they're probably.
But
good in the
it's
kitchen.
too much. It's like, just take it easy.
Here's the website right here. Big message.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The food was delicious, though. It was really some of the best breakfast food I've had.
Man, that's got to be a new. Is it right there in the mall there?
Yeah, near the club.
How have I missed that? That's got to be new. It's
I
got to
think
be new
it's
because
new.
there's a little pizza place.
It's across from the pizza place.
John, the guy that used to run the club down there. Basil, I think it's called.
Basil, yeah.
That's a good.
I've been there a couple of times.
There's a thing called the Hippie Bowl there.
Okay,
that's some good food.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, Brian? Where were you at?
Well, I was at the Opry Friday night. Thursday night, I did a taping at Zany's with Killer Bees.
Oh, the Buzz.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, the Comedy Buzz, and shows were great. And supposedly he's going to air on Amazon Prime.
Oh, cool.
That's great, man.
So had a good set, and it was a hot show. And
standing ovation.
No, I didn't get a standing ovation. But
why do you got to do that, man?
Well, I just talked about this is dry bar taping where everybody's supposed to get a standing ovation, but didn't you say that?
Yeah.
You are,
but it did just sound like you were going. Yeah, how good was it really? Did you get a standing ovation?
It sounds like that thing that you when he did something great, but you shoot for something higher so it doesn't seem great.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying that because I just told the story about the guy at the Opry who got a standing ovation.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, my dry bar. You got a standing ovation at your dry bar, didn't you?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Well, I'm not going to tell.
He's like, I don't take stock in such things, Brian. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It's not about that.
It's not about that, man.
It's about the comedy. Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell the story, man. We got our comments now. We can get into them.
I don't know what you guys are teaching down there in Louisville, but it's about the writing. It's about the performance.
Yeah.
You're too attached to result. I've always said that about you, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's where you're making up stories about church and addiction.
I'm making a crowd work comic.
Yeah.
Doesn't even go to church, really.
Yeah.
Here are the comments, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, they're from Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast Reviews, and Nateland at natebargatze.com. Let's dive in. First comment is from Jennifer Marbach. Aaron said on
I love that on the first name. Here we are.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
We're back at it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Jennifer M. Aaron said on last week's podcast that Columbus, Ohio was the 6th largest city in the country. I repeated this fun fact I learned on Nateland to several of my coworkers, and everyone was as surprised as I was. I finally decided to Google it and found out it is ranked 14. I'm a little embarrassed, but I guess it isn't the dumbest thing I've said at work.
It is all about how they structure out the thing. Like St. Louis actually would be one of the larger cities, but they only include the metro area.
Well, no, metro area is the big part.
Okay, so whatever the
city is the small. So Columbus, probably a lot of people live within city limits, so it rockets up there on the cities.
It's
metro area.
I actually looked this up. It's 32nd metro area.
Metro area.
So, Aaron, you look even dumber.
Well, he wasn't talking metro areas. He's talking city.
I think when I said that, I said it's like the 6th largest city.
It's big.
And like 6 and 14, pretty cose.
14's not bad for, you didn't think Columbus was the 14th
Of course.
largest.
I mean, how many cities are there? A couple hundred? And 14 is up there.
14's not bad.
8. It's 8 off.
But based on just population of the city, Nashville would be bigger than Atlanta.
Oh, well, that's not even okay. So that's
but metro area. Atlanta's what, 5 or something?
Yeah.
Atlanta's huge.
So what's metro area? L.A., New York, Chicago. Houston may be above.
Houston's 4th.
Yeah, Houston's 4th. I think.
New York, L.A., Chicago, Houston,
Columbus,
and then Phoenix.
Columbus in the mix.
Yeah, top 20.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Columbus is in the.
Well, I'm not sure. I think it's 32nd, but anyway.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Sounds like really interesting conversations you're having at work.
That's 12.
I'm just trying to get the water.
Maybe focus on work. You know what I mean?
Maybe step away from the water cooler for a bit and get some work done. Drew Guswa. If you're flying solo on Southwest, I contend that A1 is not the best because then you have no say in who sits next to you. A15 to 30 is the sweet spot. You can scope who's already sitting and then decide whether to join them or claim an open spot. Interesting.
See, I don't really care who's sitting next to me. I just want an aisle seat close to the front of the plane.
You say that.
Yeah.
But if you're at the aisle, you're free. You're free out
Yeah.
in the. You're free, even
Yeah,
if
but
they're.
you're doing this.
Yeah, but you're still free out here.
There is some freedom.
Yes.
Yeah. You can.
That's all I want.
You can get out of there if you need to.
Yeah.
But
I'll make multiple trips to the bathroom.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about it, but I don't want any judgment. And
Yes.
like if I say, hey, I'm going to ask nicely, but if I get any kind of attitude, I'm like, we can switch. We can switch. You were the one that want to sit out here.
Right.
I'd sit in here. We can switch.
Like when they start to set up the laptop, I want to go, don't even get all that out.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to put that out.
But do you really have to go?
So you're limiting their workflow.
Yeah. You're not going to want all that out.
Hey, just a heads up, you're not going to get anything done this flight.
I don't know how I ended up at the window, but it's just too bad.
This flight's not going to go the way you think it is.
Well, Greg and I at our age, we actually have to go that many times. You probably just go in there to what?
Well, I
goof
drink a lot
around?
of water, yeah, but I also, I want to see what's happening.
In the bathroom?
I like to walk through the plane just to see what people are up to.
Yeah.
I go. But I mean, to be honest, it's been that way my whole life.
Mm.
I mean, I think my age has something to do with it now, but I mean, I just, even as a kid, I remember my dad being like, are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
the moment I'm about to get into any situation where it will be weird to go to the bathroom, I'm like, I gotta go.
Man, I think I talked about that last time I was on here. I got one of those sleep tests where they hook you up with all the wires, and immediately I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
I have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. So now I got to go.
Yeah,
a lot. And I quit.
You quit the sleep test?
And the last time
I went home.
The first time I went home, I bailed, but I just want to tell you guys sort of a nice way to, tie the bow or whatever.
Put a button on it.
Put a button on it. Thank you. I did it. Thursday night, I did it.
Wow.
I went back and I did it.
When do you get the results?
Doesn't matter. I don't care about the results. It's just about overcoming your fear.
I like the idea that you're like, you know what? I don't have a problem sleeping. I just pee a lot. So you're like, actually, I just figured it out. I don't need this whole test.
No, to be real honest, I did talk to him on the way in, and they were like, "There's nothing wrong with you." And so now I've spent a lot of money to rule out. I just need to go to the urologist, I think is probably what I need to do. I don't have a sleep problem. I don't have it.
Really?
Yeah. And Bates was telling me, you said for sure I need to go get a CPAP.
Yeah.
They said no.
Could you tell just
listen to him by looking at him right now?
No, man, that is such, because the doctor said the same thing.
Yeah.
I showed up. He goes, your dad snore? I'm like, yeah. He goes, open your mouth. Oh yeah, you need to sleep. Wait a minute, man. You cannot tell that.
Yeah.
I love those guys that are so. I went to the dentist one time, and he had me open my mouth. He goes, "Oh, you're a grinder." He goes, "You're definitely a grinder." He goes, "Don't feel bad." He goes, picked up People magazine. He goes, "Mel Gibson, you can tell right here. He's a grinder. Mel's a grinder. Don't feel bad about it."
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they all think they know something. They want to
yeah.
impress you. They want to go, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, if I have no idea, what's the problem?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just grind them.
It's like they're talk show hosts where just make a call really firm, whether you believe it or not.
Yes.
My brother was a soccer referee when he was in college, and he would go there hungover, and he had no idea what was going on. But every call he would make it with a lot of authority. But that ball is out right there.
Oh yeah.
He had no idea.
Even the replay comes in, you're like, no, bad angle.
And everybody believed him, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Used that example last time, Greg. Reruns.
Did I
All
really?
Right.
I said that one?
I don't remember that.
Man, this is going to happen a lot.
I wasn't here.
I've been on here too many times.
It's all new
you
to
gotta
me.
Call me out. You saw me going into it. You could have cut me off.
I know. I thought surely he's not going to tell this story again, but he
the
did.
soccer thing I told.
Buzz Killington. I'd never heard that.
Can we
before
cut
in my
this?
life.
This is terrible.
No.
It's all new
damage
to
is
me.
done.
It's terrible, man.
It's all new to me.
It's all new to Dusty.
I appreciate you telling it.
Man. Why? You had two choices there. Okay, you can cut me off before I do it and say, "Hey, man, don't tell this. You're going to sound like an idiot."
Yeah.
Okay, or you can just let it go. But now my confidence shaken. I don't know what I'm.
Look, Dusty tells the same C4 story at the airport every week, so.
I don't know what that is, but
the candle.
Oh, the candle. Yeah. Well, they have new machines now, and now they tell you they can tell the difference between a candle and a stick of C4. And I'm like, oh, you couldn't do that before, So before we're just slipping through with dynamite this whole time and not lighting it on the plane. I mean, You know,
I
called you a C4 story at the airport. I thought it was the gate.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
But I'll tell it every podcast if I can.
Okay, man. Well, I still feel like an idiot. Thanks, Bates.
Mm-hmm. Maria Rivard.
I tell you guys, I sold Pringles.
Maria Rivard. Can we please revisit physics? I consider myself relatively intelligent, yet cannot grasp that the Earth spins, and when we jump up, it doesn't move under us. It's an argument I've had with my family for years. How come when the space shuttle crew or any satellite is up taking pictures of the Earth, it's not blurry if it's spinning? I'm just saying what Dusty was thinking the entire episode.
Well, don't pin it on me now, but don't have this whole comment and then go, this is not my thoughts. These are Dusty's thoughts. But you're right, though, Maria.
But I think the short answer is, for both us down here on Earth and for the space shuttle orbiting the Earth, we are also spinning. So from our perspective, it does not look like the Earth is spinning, but we're spinning with it. For the same reason, if I'm driving in a car and I throw a tennis ball up in the air, it's not going to fly back and hit the back windshield because the tennis ball is also moving with the car.
What if you don't have a windshield?
Like a sports car?
Yeah.
Like convertible?
No, like no windshield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the wind would probably blow it.
Yeah.
The wind might blow it back, yeah, but it's still, it's not going to fly back like it would.
Wait a minute, are you?
Yeah.
You're throwing the ball up in the car or out of the car?
I'm
trying to get.
Let's say I'm driving.
I'm
driving left hand on the steering wheel.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Juggling a tennis ball in my right hand.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like that's how I drive usually. Just to keep
squeeze
myself entertained.
Squeeze it. Keep the forearms.
I scream at the windshield a lot. Yeah, I'm having trouble. But let's say I'm throwing it up.
Okay.
When I throw the ball up in the air, it's just going to go straight up and come right back down, right? If I'm inside a car.
I'm with you, man.
That's the same reason that if you jump up right now, the Earth doesn't just spin under you. It's because we're already moving with the Earth.
Okay, but isn't this also have to do with the speed of the spin? I mean, it's pretty slow spin.
It's a pretty fast spin. It's just the Earth is so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
It goes all the way around in 24 hours. And it's pretty big.
I guess it is. Yeah. Thanks for that tennis ball. Though I thought you were throwing it up outside the car, and I was like, well, then it would.
Yeah. That's different. That's good.
But if you're on a train enclosed, it would come right back down.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I say we try it.
What do you mean?
Let's test it. Like, let's test it.
I don't know if this needs testing. I feel like
I think Maria Rivard wants it tested.
Okay. Well, we'll put one up on the Patreon.
I want to say though, back to this Southwest thing. The other day, I was boarding. I was A3. And all these people,
you're about to say C4 out of it.
All these people, I could see them lining up, and I pulled out my paper and I was going to tally how many people went in front of me, and then I was going to email Southwest about it because I thought there was a bunch of people from another flight that was about to board.
Oh yeah.
And then I got to 8, and then they were like, "All right, now you can board." And I was like, "All right, well that's not worth it." But if we'd got up to 20, I was sending out an email.
You don't want to be tallying anybody, man.
Yeah, I like.
If you're tallying anything, people get real suspicious. Like, what do you count?
Well, I was tallying people in wheelchairs at that point, so it did not look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all.
But because that's who was boarding. But I was like, all right, so there's a person in a wheelchair, but also a person with them, and that person's not pushing them. The employee's pushing them, so they're just kind of tagging.
It's like in theory, y'all should be able to just grab the chair in front of you, and then one person brings all of you like a train.
Yeah,
I'll push a person onto the.
I don't feel like that's.
I like that.
Safe.
I'll go. You know what? I'll take one. Let me be A1. I'll take a person.
Dude, I was at the Midway airport this weekend, and I saw an employee pulling 3 different people on wheelchairs to their gate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive, dude. I don't know if they're just understaffed or if he just wanted to show off or what.
That's the world. Everybody, nobody's working.
I know. But it was kind of impressive to watch.
Yeah.
He was hauling too.
You guys all have automatic check-in on Southwest?
I don't think
I'm
so.
A-list preferred, so yeah.
I think I got automatically checked in.
What's that mean?
Like, do you have to go in 24 hours ahead of time? Yeah.
How do you get automatic check-in?
I just figured, well, like you said, A-list preferred.
If you get to A-list, you will have automatic early bird check-in.
I was on that. The greatest year of my life. It was great.
I have to go on 24 hours ahead of time
and
check in. Yeah. And the other day, it just shows how many people now have some A-list preferred or something ahead of time. Because I'm ready to go. Eleanor drops her sippy cup. My chicken's 8:55. She drops it at 8:54. Milk goes everywhere. That's my wife. No, that's my daughter.
I know who Eleanor is.
And I jump up and clean up real fast. Jump up to check in. It is now 8:55 or whatever. C8.
No, I can't believe you cleaned the sippy cup first. Just go ahead and get yourself secured away.
Yeah.
You told that story 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, man. I wasn't going to say anything about it.
I think it was episode 18.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Kyle Tracy. I was taking care of my morning business at the Pilot truck stop in Montauk, New Jersey. Montague?
I'm going to say Montague on that one.
Montague. What a great way to start a day, huh? And a guy came in and sat in the stall next to me. A few seconds later, a horse with no name was playing. I said, Aaronland? He said he's been doing that every day since that episode, and I'm the first one to make the connection. I didn't stick around to meet him, but anyway, there's a lot of truckers that listen. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I'm starting a movement out
That
there.
is amazing.
Do you know the backstory for this?
I don't know the backstory, but I love the band America.
Yeah.
Love them. And the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I do, I don't like a bathroom where it's quiet in there.
Yeah.
So if there's no music playing, if there's no real loud kind of white noise, I will play Horse with No Name by America on my phone.
Really?
And that's just sort of my calling card, I guess you'd say.
Plants and birds and rocks.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I love that. I can't imagine what it's like at a Pilot truck stop in the morning. I mean, I've sat in a lot of Home Depots in the morning in the bathrooms, and it is wild in there. And I can't imagine what's going on at a truck stop. You've been eating hot dogs and drinking coffee, and it's just like somebody says next to you, you go, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here.
Man, I remember.
But great song.
Yeah.
Bates, if I have told this, would you stop me? But
well, let's go. We'll see.
There was this bathroom on the road. I think I was working Toledo, but I was eating a lot of grapefruits back then, and for some reason I just had to go.
Yeah.
And I went in this gas station. It was a small bathroom. There's a guy in there. I think he was sitting down, and there was just a urinal. And I was like, I just this is gonna have to happen, man. And I just walked in there. He's in there. He goes, it's not that kind of bathroom, meaning it's not meant for two people to be in at the same time. I was like, sorry, dude.
It is today.
Yeah, it is. It is. This is a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing that I'm doing to you, but there's a worse thing that's going to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
The way he said it, it was a really tactful way to say it.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of bathroom. I know, man. I know. I'm sorry. But
if it's not, it seemed like he could have locked the door.
And this is not a normal kind of situation I'm dealing with.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. It hadn't happened since.
Brutal.
Grapefruits are, they can do it to you.
Yeah, I was eating like 2-3 a day. Man.
Yeah.
2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time just peeling.
That's a lot of grapefruit, man.
It is, man. Yeah. I mean, these were.
Is this your wrestling days?
No. And these were good sized grapefruits. Yeah.
Okay. Eating them on the road trip. Just have them. Okay. That makes sense. Thomas Nielsen. Dusty mentioning his family history made me curious, so I did some research and found his oldest Slay ancestor, Sir Edmund Slay, Sleigh. They changed the spelling at some point. The High Sheriff of London.
Wow.
He lived in London from 1590 to 1656. Also found this picture of Grandpa Guy and the other Slay boys from 1939.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
wow.
my granddad right there. The one with his tie. Well,
on the right?
No, 2 over. That
right there?
Oh, yeah.
That's Grandpa Guy?
Yeah.
How about that?
Amazing. Have you seen this picture before?
I don't think so. But I know what he looks like.
Wow.
So this guy was able to find that?
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, thanks, Thomas. I knew that the last name had changed, but yeah, that's pretty wild.
It's kind of weird that two of the guys' ties are very windy and the other two are just kind of sitting flat.
They got tie tacks.
They're like windmills in rural Illinois, right, Dusty?
That's
Those
right.
Windmills, half of them are blowing, half of them
true.
aren't.
That's true. Some of them are just whipping through the air.
But my guess is this guy's got a little tie clip.
Yeah. So,
well, that's interesting. Sir Edmund Slay, the High Sheriff of London. That's interesting.
I think the guy in the far left might have tucked his tie. I can't tell. No.
It's got a little blow to it.
Yeah. Okay. There's a tie tack right there about, I'd say, a third of the way up. Pin, probably with a...
That would have been about 8 years before my dad was born.
Whoa.
Yeah. 1939. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you, Thomas. That was very cool.
Yeah, great.
Next comment is from Nishikant. Okay.
Yeah.
As professional stand-up comedians, Brian, Dusty, and I'll take this one. How do you handle... Sorry.
Greg can't get in on it?
Oh, Greg can hop in for sure.
All right.
As professional stand-up comedians, how do you handle unfunny stories? Wow, you might be able to do this one, Brian. How do you handle unfunny stories or jokes from close friends, family members, or in-laws? I struggle to find humor in my girlfriend's jokes, but I don't want to hurt her feelings by telling her that. Well, that's a tough dilemma for sure.
Break up with her. I mean, just get right out of that relationship.
Well, I think there's a real key question that we need answered. How long are these stories?
Yeah.
How hot is she?
That's
Yeah, I mean, how often is she telling them too? I mean, is she telling you jokes every day? Are these nonstop, or is it once in a while?
Yeah.
Also, get a fake laugh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can do it.
But we all have people after shows come up. I got one for you. I had yesterday at church a guy come up. I got 2 jokes for you. I'm like, all right, let's hear them.
Yeah.
And I fake laughed, and then you move on.
What was one of the jokes?
One of them was.
That's good. I thought that was real.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. One of them was something about his kids got a part in a play, and his son's part was playing a husband.
Okay.
And then I said to him, well, congratulations. Maybe next year you'll get a speaking role.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a gift that he gave you because you got a line on it.
Now I got a new closer.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go closing with it, but it's real
At least an opener, though.
Yeah.
Start with that.
That is the thing, though. You know, like if somebody will shout something out in the audience and you're just so conditioned to be like, this is so stupid. Like probably 4 times I've been like, wait a minute. What'd you say?
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's why I don't do crowd work. I'm afraid they'll be funnier than me.
Yeah, but I took one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, well, that's going in the act. That was good.
I've had people message me things. Hey, you did this joke and you should add this at the end. And 90% of the time I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Once in a while. I'm
like,
you know what?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you mind me telling? I remember one specifically that somebody gave you after a show.
Yeah.
You had a joke about peeing on ants.
Oh, yes.
And a guy came up and said, that's trickle down economics.
Yeah. I just put that joke on the internet and people are like, this is genius. I'm like, yeah, that guy's good. That guy's
You
good.
made it work. He just gave you the term.
What about the one in Duluth, Minnesota that someone gave you one time? That not good.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, Brian, stop me if I think I might have told this one before.
Well,
but I had
cops are going to get you on that.
I had an old bit that I haven't done in a while, but about when your cat dies, what are you supposed to do when your cat dies? And at one point in the joke, I said, I don't know what the etiquette is. Like, what am I supposed to do? It's a long bit, and the word etiquette not important to the joke at all. After the show, a woman comes up to me and she goes, got a little idea for your cat joke. I said, yeah, let me hear it. She goes, etiquette. Etiquette? I was like, yeah. I go, that's great.
That's wordplay.
And I went back to Dusty and we were talking like the show would change immediately. If I were just like etiquette, huh? Everyone would be like, wait, what are we watching again? People have been like, what kind of show is this? Etiquette?
Etiquette?
Yeah,
No.
that's the worst one I've got. Good times. What's the next comment here?
Mary May.
Mary May. Great name.
Yeah.
Mary May Camarda. Just finished watching the documentary Inside Jokes on Amazon about up-and-coming comics auditioning for the Just for Laughs Festival. New faces. I was so happy to catch the smallest cameo from our boy, Dusty. Was the New Faces show what launched his career? Is that show as big of a deal for new comics as they make it out to be?
Well, I don't know. The documentary itself, I don't know. But I was there doing New Faces Unwrap. So we weren't really a part of that documentary. But for whatever reason, when they did that one shot where I'm standing there, we got in on it. But yeah, it was. It really did launch things.
It was big for me.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
2002, I think I did it.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, and back then I was like, well, I'm either going to have to quit or I'm going to be a superstar, and it wasn't either of those things. It definitely, as I
turns out there are a lot of other options.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, make in my head, I was like, I'm going to be superstar because they make it back then. Comedians were getting big deals and stuff like that. So I did like okay, but I look back, I'm like, I could have done so much better.
Yeah,
and I wish I would have waited a year or something like that. But yeah,
that's how I feel. And actually, it had kind of been offered to me the year before, but there were some different complications, so I couldn't do it. And then it wasn't necessarily offered to me, but it felt like it was. But then there was something I had going on that I couldn't do it. So I got offered the next year, and I was very happy to have that extra year of just working on jokes.
Right.
Because I went in hot. I mean, I was ready to go.
That's great.
I was ready to roll.
Yeah, I wish I would have maybe waited a little bit, but it was still pretty. It's still pretty cool. First time, whatever somebody in the industry said this guy exists, and then other people acknowledge that you go ahead and exist.
That is a big part of what it feels like. You feel like, oh, I'm in the system.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm in the mix. Anyway, but that's cool that they were doing the documentary the year you did it.
Yeah. And so I was just like standing on stage at some point and like with other people, but I got a hat. So much like the Titans video, I'm recognizable even at a glimpse.
That's like your Last Comic Standing appearance too.
Yes, exactly. Got a lot of those cameos.
If you pause it at the right time, you can see Dusty in the background.
Yeah.
Trey Nichols, Greg can roll his eyes. Whoa.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah. Maybe Nate can read it.
I pulled a Nate.
Yeah.
I pulled a Nate. Tracy Nichols. Greg can roll his eyes at Nate for saying Pringles aren't chips, but you would never grab a Pringle to eat dip. Chips go with dips, and Pringles stand alone.
Hold on a second, man. The logic is flawed.
I agree.
Is where she's at here because who's dipping Lays?
Excellent point.
Who's dipping Lays?
Nobody's
which is
dipping
sort
Lays.
I hate to say it, and I don't care for some of their business tactics, but that's the kind of the gold standard of potato chip, right?
Yeah, they're the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Pepsi actually,
but I know. But,
Pepsi.
But if a chip doesn't need dip, doesn't that make it a better chip?
I think so.
I mean, if you gotta dip it, is it really that good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think really potato chips. What potato chips are you dipping?
Ruffles.
I don't need it.
I don't need it.
Ruffles do people. Doritos, I don't think are built for dipping. I think I think it's a pretty awesome move when you do use them to dip, but I don't think they're built that way.
Ruffles. I mean, I
think only corn
tortilla chips.
Tortillas.
That's what I was trying
and Mia Cope on this, Bates, because I know I've discussed this on the podcast before. So.
We'll see.
No, I have. Okay, I'm just telling you right up, I have. So actually, I just want to say I talked about Tarangos, which was when we tried. We tried to get into the corn chip market because we wanted to Tarangos. It was a sort of a Pringles, and we had the wrong price point, and there was a dippability issue there. That'll give you. It's supposed to be dipped. It's just supposed to be dipped.
And it was marketed that way.
It was, it was, but it was
too thin.
Too thin, and oh man, through the roof expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want expensive chips breaking off in the dip.
No, I'd be infuriated.
You're like, what am I eating? A salad now?
Yeah. Then now you got to. Yeah, it's like it's like turning a pie into a cobbler.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why Tracy's attacking me on this deal.
Amy Lewandowski. I showed my husband a clip of Dusty doing stand-up, and his first comment was, his hair is really straight, which I never really thought of, but now I'm wondering, how does Dusty get his hair so straight?
Well, I love that that's your husband's first comment. A lot of women make that comment to me. I don't hear it a lot from dudes. But
how did it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, I like it. I appreciate that dudes are noticing.
A hair straightener?
No, it just is like this. I don't do anything. I wish it had a little curl to it.
Really?
Yeah.
He'd be a much different.
I don't think it'd be the same act. I don't think it'd be the same
That's true.
I'd be a very different
Well,
act.
who knows? I might be, a CEO of something if my hair had a little curl.
I think a lot of your life would be much different.
You think?
If you had
a little bounce?
Yeah.
If it was a little voluminous.
Yeah.
But no, if you had bounce, I don't think you'd be going corporate. I think you'd be going like lion show or something, big cat.
It might be like a circus performer.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, you're talking like Weird Al Yankovic hair, like that kind of.
I was thinking about Tiger King more.
I said bit of a curl. I mean, that's as curly as it gets.
Yeah, that's permed out for sure.
Weird Al. I mean, like a flow to it,
like a Head and Shoulders commercial. You could get a sponsorship.
Not like a Weird Al. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That looks pretty nice though.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Kenny G's even
curlier. Kenny G is awful similar to Weird Al in a way.
Yeah, he is.
What a weird career that guy's had. Very successful, but no one seems to like him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody that's like a Kenny G fan.
I think it became cool to hate him.
Him and Michael Bolton.
Yeah, him and Bolton.
Yeah.
Same hair, though, too. Doesn't Michael Bolton have similar hair?
Not anymore.
No, he went bald.
No, he just cut it. It looks good. Yeah. No, I think it just became like Nickelback. Everybody, it was cool to hate Nickelback, and Kenny G was like, because it's not like rock and roll music. It's sort of.
But I think he's also made fun of by real jazz enthusiasts because they think he like popified jazz in a way that they don't like, and they think it's kind of watered down. Not real jazz music.
Also, he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
And I can't name another saxophonist in
David
the world
Sanborn.
right now. Yeah.
David Sanborn.
Okay, is he good?
Yeah, he's real good.
Dave Koz. I know him. Maybe I do know a couple. Bill Clinton.
Clinton was,
He's made a lot of money. Not necessarily from the saxophone.
No,
right.
Not much of it came from sax.
Yeah.
We'll move on from that. Kristen. Jay Custis. My dad has spent thousands having his wiring repaired on his car because of chipmunks and squirrels in rural Indiana, just like bygone Bates. I have been waiting anxiously for Brian's Dry Bar special to come out, hoping it makes enough money for Brian to build a garage. I'd love an ETA on the special.
Well, I wish I knew.
They are secretive about that.
They are. How long did it take yours? Do you remember?
Not that long, but I was early on.
All right.
No,
mine went really well. They put it out.
No, it's
next week. Honestly, I was on the plane and it came out.
They are so secretive.
They streamed his live.
It was season 2.
Yeah.
So that they didn't have a lot of inventory back then. Whatever they did, they put it out. And but my buddy, who was a buddy, Brendan Ayre, shot one.
Nice.
Years ago, man, and it's not out. And this he's a great comic.
He's very fun.
But they won't tell him. They're just. I think they just have a ton of them that they shot, and they sort of get to them when they get to them.
Well, this is my second one. The first one took about 2 years to come out.
Wow.
This one, I check in with them every so often.
2 years?
I mean, it was close to it.
Wow.
This one, I mean, I shot this last October, and
if they gave you a second one, obviously you know it's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to answer the question. Yeah, I'm not feel like you're making me feel bad now. Like maybe it won't come out.
It's gonna be okay, man.
Yeah.
It's not like
you're not a terrible comic.
Yeah, we'll still love you, dude.
It's not like they tossed it.
Maybe they were like, he did these on the first one.
Build your own medicine.
But I will say that already, I mean, I think about what I did, and you know how. Like I've had so many specials, but
I wouldn't want to record something and then it come out 2 years later.
Either I've already got new jokes that in your mind, whatever your newest joke is your favorite. You're like, this is the best thing I've ever did. I wish it was on the special. Yeah. Or I just started some jokes that I did tell on it, but now I feel like I tell them better.
Right.
That is, I don't think there's a comedian in the world that would say you put it on tape and then 2 weeks later you figure out how to do at least 3 of them better.
Yeah,
totally.
Just driving down the street.
Yeah.
That's just there's no way to stop that.
Yeah. So thank you for asking. I wish I knew. I don't know, but they tell me soon, but they've been telling me that for a while.
Yeah.
So
what about the garage? Any update on the garage?
Yeah, the squirrels.
Well, the squirrels, thankfully, no new problems to report. I got a hawk now that's kind of
helping you out.
It's helping me out with the squirrels.
Oh, okay.
But we have to stay indoors. I can't take my baby or dog out now. I got a mole that's really doing some damage to my
just getting
my
terrorized
yard.
in this neighborhood.
Yeah, but squirrels, thankfully, no new damage to my car to report.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So. By mole, you mean the road, right? Not somebody within the family that's sharing information.
Yeah, an actual mole.
Yeah.
Okay. Kristen Flavel.
I like Flavel.
Yeah. I got a little bit of Flavel too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As a fellow, as a fellow millennial, I love when Aaron throws in Harry Potter references and watching the older gents' reactions. Would love to see a Harry Potter episode with Aaron explaining the story and the guys reacting, especially Dusty, who would have to spiritually cleanse the room afterwards. How do you feel about that, Dusty?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a part of it, but I
think Dusty will be out of town when we record that one.
Yeah, and you could do a whole Dungeons and Dragons and Harry Potter thing.
Yeah, it's all completely unrelated, but
I just they called Dusty and Bates and Nate older gents, which makes me downright geriatric. Yeah.
You and I are pretty close to same age.
I got you probably by about 4 years.
Oh, is he talking about us? The older gents reaction?
Oh, yeah.
I called you guys older gents.
Who'd you think?
Yeah. I don't know. When I hear older, I never think they're talking about me.
You're in the same boat with me, buddy.
Yeah.
Micah Johnson. I bet your sponsors are raking in the cash. I switched from Skippy to Jif and recently bought Spectracide for an ant problem, and these items aren't even officially sponsored.
Micah, get in touch with me. I'll get you something. That's solid decision making right there.
It is. The Spectracide is the best ant killer you're going to get.
Yeah.
But ants can't hide from Spectracide, is what they say. And
I like it.
I believe it.
Well, that's what we're talking about this week. We're talking about sales. Your special is called The Salesman.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming that's what it's about. And what? Yeah, I was going to get. Okay, go ahead, Dusty.
Well, I
just take over.
No, I mean, it's just been a while. We've not even. I see. I have number 1 here, and we've not done any.
Well, we just got 2. We only got 2 this week.
Oh, okay, all right. So you do your thing.
I thought you'd forgotten 2.
Yeah,
I had not. I was about to get to it, but go ahead. Now that
I want to hear the segue you were going to do.
Yeah.
Did you already have it planned in your head?
The segue to Athletic Greens?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I was just going
to wait till it comes up organically.
Yeah.
Speaking of buying good products, starting us off with our partner, Athletic Greens. All of us are trying to take our AG1 by Athletic Greens every day. We all gave AG1 a try because we wanted increased energy and immune system support for our busy lifestyles. We all try to take AG1 in the morning before starting the day, and it makes us feel like we're doing something good to cover all our nutritional bases. It is much easier to mix 1 scoop of powder and water once a day than to take a bunch of different things. It is the healthiest thing you can do in under a minute and costs less than $3 a day. Since we travel so often, we also get the single-serving travel pack, so we never have to miss a day when we're on the road. You can get free monthly delivery to make it even easier. Listen to this. Every scoop has 75 vitamins, minerals, people forget about minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality that have major benefits like gut and mood support, boosted energy, and even healthier looking skin, hair, and nails. Less than 1 gram of naturally occurring sugar per serving. AG1 has been part of millions of mornings since 2010. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1. I keep saying AJ1. I don't mean to say AG1, and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/Nate. That's drinkag1.com/Nate. Check it out.
Boom. Now, I was joking about not watching your special.
No, I thought you didn't watch it.
No, I watched it. It was great.
Thanks, buddy.
It was wonderful.
Thanks,
the direction wasn't much to care for.
Taking a shot at Nate?
Yeah. Looks like he just hit play and record and walked out of the room. But
he actually had some real good, very few notes on the edit, but one of the notes, he gave me 2 notes and they were both dead on.
Yeah, no, it was great. All right.
Thanks,
so we're talking about sales this week.
Yeah.
I agree, by the way. It was awesome.
Thanks.
Have you ever worked in sales?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. I wasn't good at it.
What'd you do?
I just want to say, since they both said, I don't think I've watched it, but I have watched your comedy before, and I think you're very funny.
I know you didn't care for it.
No, I think you're very funny. I don't know if I've watched it, but
he's never seen Nate's specials either. He doesn't know any of my jokes. He doesn't know any of Brian's.
Even though I did comedy.
I worked my first job out of college, my first real job out of college, I guess you could say. I worked essentially, I was a telemarketer. I sold sales leads to salesmen, and I hated it, and I wasn't good at it, and I got fired from that job. And I was rightfully, I should have been fired.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even, when they told me, I was like, yeah.
You're like, this makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I figured it was about time.
You're like, I feel better about the company knowing that you're getting rid of me.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like you got to sell to a salesman.
Yeah. Well, we had agreements with these companies. I would qualify the leads over the phone and then just deliver via email. So I was just on the phone.
You're like, hey, are you somebody that's going to be interested in buying something if somebody calls you?
Maybe.
No, I kind of have to be dishonest to these people about what we were doing. I would present myself as, I can help you find the right software for you. And then, I just sell their information to companies. We did help people, but I was just very bad at it. I think we were supposed to make 100 phone calls a day. And I remember when I got fired, my boss was like, you made 7 calls yesterday. I was like, oh, jeez. He's like, we got security footage. You played ping pong quite a bit. I would play a lot of ping pong.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was just about.
Why they have ping pong in there, man?
Like real ping pong or on the computer?
No, there's a ping pong in the break room.
Oh, so you're like,
that's on
yeah,
them,
dude,
man.
I'm not even at my computer.
You got to get a Bluetooth.
How you
ping pong it while you're making calls?
Yes, there you go.
They were good. I was not a good. I think I was fun to have around on some
I
level.
love they have security footage if you play.
Just by myself. Not even with
I love that they thought that they had to have. They were, where you were going to be like, no, man, I made 100. Well, you're playing a lot of ping pong. I never even touched a ping pong paddle. Why don't you take a look at this tape right here? I don't even know how to play ping pong.
And you're like selling it that it's not you, and they're like, if you apply this to the job,
yeah. Where was this on the job?
You were 93 calls short.
Yeah, not
that
even
is
close.
the thing, man. That if you're interviewing for somebody to be like when you want to have an agent, there's people like, yeah, that guy, he was a little bit pushy. I'm like, you might want him,
Yeah, you don't want the guy like, listen, do whatever you want to do, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done a sales job, Brian?
Never. I think I'd be terrible at it.
We worked at that camp store.
Right? Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's kind of like sales. I mean, you're a cashier, but
people. I'm a cashier.
You ever upsell? Oh, you're like, hey, how about the king size peanuts?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I mean, I would be the world's worst. They say all of life is sales.
Yeah,
and that's probably why things are going the way they are. But no,
you ever done? Sell me this pen, dude.
I don't even know. Like, do you guys know what?
Or not?
All right,
Here, you want me to do it?
Yeah, sell it to me.
Aaron, before I get started here,
I can't.
I mean, what are you looking for in a pen?
Who said I was looking for a pen? I got plenty of pens.
What? So you got plenty of pens, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need no more pens.
I don't think I do. No.
You see, there you go. You don't
you don't know what you need.
You don't know how many pens you have, man.
I mean, you're right about that. I don't know how many I have. I'm sure I got at least one. Or two.
You're a comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you I imagine you do some form of writing for your jokes, right?
Oh, you haven't seen my act, Greg. But I need to for sure.
Yeah,
I know I need to.
You do.
Yeah,
you do, man. And let's say you're just in the Starbucks or wherever. Where do you do your writing?
Just at home, I guess.
Yeah. You're there at home, and you are onto something. I mean, you were onto something. You feel like this is it, man.
I can't do that.
And you don't have any.
I can't even look at
pen runs out of ink. What are you going to get up and go to Walgreens?
No.
You want to keep I'd say probably a year's supply of pens right there, and I can get you 6 months right now for the price of 3.
This is intense.
I don't even know what this means.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, do
6 months of pens.
You like gel pens? You like Sharpies? all in one right here.
Man,
my mom uses this pen. It's the best you can get.
I don't care for that. I like
it's the best you can get.
There's a Uniball.
$2.
Oh,
I'd say most of
$2.
my.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll pay you later.
You're buying his pen.
You tried to sell me on a 6-month subscription to a pen, dude. I only needed one.
Do you bring in a personal story to sell?
That's what a guy told me when I was selling pesticides. He goes, I always like to go, my mom uses this stuff and she loves it.
That's good.
He said, people love, if you say your mom uses it, puts
man,
a family element into it.
Should have used some of that in that. Yeah.
I should have, man.
You guys were both
rusty, man.
Y'all were both selling.
You were going for more. He's selling you one pen.
I like to go low items. Quantity over quality is what I'm all about.
Okay.
Let's knock it out.
What are you talking about? You sold him one pen. I was trying to sell him 6 months worth of pens.
I know, but I can sell one pen to everybody in the store.
All right. I'm learning something what I mean? Here. Yeah.
I'm like, boom, boom, boom.
All the techniques, to be honest with you, they did not work for me. The stuff, the tricks didn't work that well for me. We went to this, and Bates stopped me if I've told this,
Right.
That's my new favorite thing on this podcast.
Well,
I know.
I don't know what I'm
he
nervous
did, and he almost baited you, right? Because he brings you in to talk about sales, knowing that you've already been on here talking a lot about sales.
Right.
We didn't know anything else to talk about.
Is this the pen you're talking about, by the way? This Uniball right here?
It doesn't look exactly.
No,
no.
That's a good pen.
Is it got a? Does that
right there might be it.
Oh.
That's a
nice.
The black.
Man, that pen, man.
Cap, no click.
Some of the
you don't like a click?
No, I like a cap.
I like a cap too.
Yeah, and I mean it just glides. I mean, some of the jokes I've written with that pen.
There is something about getting a new pen or a new pad where you're like, I'd like to write in this.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels good.
I got a lot of notebooks that have got a few pages written.
It feels good. Then you sit down, and then I'm like, I got nothing to say.
Just let it flow.
Get up, go to the pool for a bit.
Yeah.
Play some ping pong.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the negotiation seminar they took us to one time? It was like how to negotiate, and they had us like sit across from our partner. And the guy was like, "Now the first rule of sales, the first rule of a negotiation is no matter what the person sitting across from you, no matter what their first offer is, you have to be shocked and offended by that offer, no matter what it is." Okay, and then he had us sit across from each other and practice the face that we would make to indicate that we were indeed shocked and offended by. So we're like, we were grown-ups, like just like.
Oh yeah.
Like just making faces at each other. And this guy probably got paid $25,000 to come teach us how to negotiate.
An improv class.
And you're doing sales like I was doing, where it's like you're selling to retail stores. We had a guy come at our meeting and speak to us. His name was Steve Martin. It was not Steve Martin.
Okay.
But he was
pretty excited when he saw the itinerary though.
I was like, I knew my company wasn't doing nothing like that. So but it was like, that's what they had. They had some guy, he was going to teach us how to sell. And he was like selling big items. There was this long drive. I'm like, I'm just trying to get the store to order a few more cases of my weed and grass killer. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I saw that guy in the bathroom. He was peeing in the urn. He was like, all right, only one more hour to go. Like he knew none of us were into what he was doing.
Retail set, because I called on the stores for a while too.
Yeah.
I was grocery stores that I was calling on. And those guys, they teach you all these techniques and stuff. And those guys are like, all right, man, I got 15 seconds. What do you want? What do you want?
Right.
What do you want?
I'm like, I got a quarter pallet here that I'd just like to set here on the aisle and try to boost my sales a little bit.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, put it on the next aisle over.
Who do you guys when you walk into a store, like, where do you go? Do you go to the cashier and say, where's your manager? Or
well, yeah, if you hadn't been there before, I mean, you try to find him and they would hide from you. And every now and then I would have to go to the lady up front of the
service desk
and mail, there's a salesman here to see you. This is already I'm sunk, you know. Yeah.
They would run I would go into the store and you would see like the department manager, because they had all my boxes in the overhead. They would have to get the forklift to get it down. So I would need them to do it. Yeah. But then I would do all the work. Right. But I would walk in and they would run because they knew I was going to ask them to drive the forklift. And it's just like, just get the thing down and I'll stock your shelves here.
How did it get there?
Well, the night stocking crew comes in and puts it up top.
So your company delivers it there, and then they put it up top, and then you.
Yeah.
You can't drive the forklift.
No, we're not allowed to drive the forklift.
You're not forklift certified.
In my position, not being an employee of the store, we're not even allowed to get certified.
Man, one time, my friends and I, we were just out of college. I was living in Houston. I lived with two guys from college, and we went to this Office Depot or somewhere.
I used to work at Office Depot too.
And we were like, we had to get we wanted to get a chair, office chair or something for one of our, and there was a guy in there. He was like an assistant manager, just a guy that worked there. And I can't remember his name.
Was this Opelika?
No, this was Houston.
Okay.
It was Houston.
Okay.
And,
Similar.
And we go, hey man, we want to buy this thing. And the guy's like, you could tell he was like, didn't quite know what he was doing. And he probably shouldn't have been alone in that store. So he goes, it's in the thing. And we were like, okay. So we went back. We're not supposed to be back there in the storeroom, and it's up there. And he's like, oh man, I can't get it because I can't drive the forklift. And my buddy Marcus goes, I can drive a forklift. And this guy was like, okay. And I'm like, oh man, we're getting this guy in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So my buddy. And then my buddy's on the forklift. He's a customer. He's on the forklift in the back of an Office Depot, and he's driving there. And the dude's manager walked in.
Oh no!
And he goes, Wayne. He goes. Who is the gentleman driving the forklift?
Oh no!
And this poor guy's like, oh, it's the customer. And this guy, we were customers, so he can't yell at us, but he just kind of looked at us like, you guys knew what you were doing to my employee that knows nothing. You guys are jerks. You guys knew what you were doing. Who is the gentleman driving the forklift?
Wayne.
I love that.
Chair?
I mean, I know that whole thing all too well. I mean, when I worked at Office Depot, we had like no employees. So when people would buy chairs, I would go back there, I would get the forklift, I would raise it up to where the chair was. Then I would climb the shelf, unload it onto the forklift, and then climb down and then lower the forklift.
Why didn't you use you didn't know how to?
It wasn't on pallets.
Oh,
it was a platform that another person was supposed to ride up. And they were supposed to have these things that you're strapped on.
Yeah, I've seen
and
those.
I would just climb up there because there's no one to help. I don't think my manager knew I was doing it, but I was like, this is efficient.
No, he did not. No.
This is efficient here.
Yeah. That's a lawsuit right there.
Did y'all have like a uniform or a name tag that you wore when you did Spectre side? Or
I had a uniform.
No, we had, wore back in the day. I think I wore a suit into the.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wore a suit into the stores.
Like Kroger?
Yeah, man.
I wasn't that far back. We were beyond the suit by the time I was coming around. We had polos.
Yeah.
But I had a vendor vest that I had to wear in the Lowe's store, a gray vest that said vendor on it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Greg would walk into Kroger dressed like these guys.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
It's got a tie tack.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, similar. Yeah. You had your sleeves rolled up and you had to sometimes you had to do quite a bit of like a shelf reset.
Did you battle with the competition?
Yeah, man. I mean, there was, there's some dirty tactics going on.
Yeah. We used to do a lot of that.
You did?
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't do it, but
we weren't dealing with food. So,
they're dealing with poison.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you guys pull?
We would, like if somebody builds a display, right? Like a little quarter pallet there on the aisle.
Yeah.
Then we would, tear the display down, put all their stuff in the overhead in the single so it's harder to get down.
Man,
and then you take the display case, go to the back and throw it into the compactor.
Yeah, that's
it crushes
oh
it.
my gosh.
Dirtbag stuff.
Yeah.
You did that?
All the time.
That is just
all the time.
I can't. That's dishonorable.
It's like
dishonorable.
It's like you, Dusty.
It's not something I wanted to do, but when they do it to you one time, you're like,
no. They did it to you.
Oh, we were doing it to each other all, and they had way more people than I had.
Who are your competitors? What?
Well, see, I was Spectre side, but I had like Scott's brand, which has Roundup. They have all the brands that everyone knows.
They're the big guys.
They have all the people, and then there was also Bayer, which is probably a bigger company than Scott's.
The Aspirin company?
Yeah, they also own a lot of pesticides.
I think they own Roundup now.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then there's
did a gig for
there
them.
was Central Pet is another. Used to be Pennington.
Yeah.
And those were the 4 competitors really. And
so did you have an attitude of we're the little guy in this conversation? I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder.
We weren't the small, like at least representation wise, I would say we were second.
Oh, really?
Like, because products, the other companies might have more products, but we had more people, except for Scott's.
Okay.
So we were kind of, but it was like, our whole mentality, they were always trying to pound into us. We work harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to get us on. Like, yeah, sure, they have more money, they have more people, but they can't outwork us.
Right.
But they could. I mean, they totally
They can't kill the Spectricide spirit.
Yes.
We were the company, we were the big ones. We were the big dogs, Procter and Gamble, but mostly because of stuff that I didn't sell. Like Tide.
Oh, that's why you weren't doing the dirty
Charmin.
tactics, because you were big dog. See, the little guy, who was the other one?
Jiffy.
Yeah, Jiffy.
Oh, sorry.
We've been over this. It's Jiffy.
Jiffy.
Yeah, it's not. Jiffy is corn mix. Corn muffin mix.
I love how
Jiffy
serious you got.
A popcorn that you shake over an oven.
Jiffy
and
Pop.
Jiffy is oil changes. It's not peanut butter. It's Jiff.
Oh, Jiffy Lube.
And Jiffy Lube. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
My mistake.
Jiffy.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I mean, some of the old school guys would tell me they would take people's stuff and they would shrink wrap. They would put it on a pallet and they would shrink wrap it, and then they would take the hose and fill the shrink wrap with water.
No.
And then they would put their business card inside
No
of it.
way.
Oh,
Now,
like the Joker.
I used to one time I took a grill box and I hid all their products in a grill box and stuck it up near the grills.
And what retail outlet is this that you're doing?
Lowe's and Home Depot.
Lowe's and Home Depot?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you've got enough privacy there at those big stores. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Oh,
yeah, you can't. Once they think you're a vendor, you can just roam around in there.
Mm-hmm. Walmart is not that way. I had to call in a couple of Walmarts. They're not playing that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Walmart doesn't play.
Wow.
What would they do?
They won't even let you in the back.
Oh, really?
You try to go in the back, they're like, no. Well, what do you need?
The baler you couldn't get in the thing that crushes the cardboard?
They don't let you do anything at Walmart.
Okay.
They set up the display for you?
Well, they might get your stuff and bring it out to you, and then you can set it up. I didn't have to do a lot of Walmarts. I did tell a guy one time I needed to set up a display. I was told to do it, and the guy was like, you're not going to be able to do it. I go, listen, I'm going to do it. I said, even if I got to build the display, take the picture, and then tear the display back down. I said, I'm going to build it in here. And he goes, all right, just do it.
Really?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they don't care.
Nobody cares.
Well, the thing is, like, there used to be, I came in on the tail end of it. Used to be more independent, grocery stores, and there weren't as big mass stores like that, or hardware stores. And there was a lot of decisions made at the store level. So it was in a lot of companies' best interest to have somebody out there influencing people at the store level. But as things moved up and up, now it's like, it's all done at the headquarters, and they just implement whatever they sell at the headquarters. So you don't have a lot of professional salespeople at the store level. They're just more like they're laborers is what they are.
And I had a real attitude problem because I was an alcoholic and I was hungover every day, but I also knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's get this done, people.
Yeah.
Quit playing around with me in here.
So you mean to the customer you were that way?
Sometimes, but mainly to the employees of the stores.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the customer, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's who you're calling on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I was the best, but I did a good job. But I had just, some people were my friends. I had a lot of these stores that were my friends, but others, it was like, I knew what I had to do. We had these corporate plans that had been sent down, and they were like, you can't do it. And I'm like, listen, this is the corporate thing. They're telling you got to do this. So either you're going to let me do it, or I'm going to go get the manager. The manager's going to go, yeah, you got to do it. And then we're going to do it. So we're going to do it now, or I'm not going to get you in trouble. You know what I mean?
This is all good. I think Dusty was really good salesman.
I agree.
I mean,
just sort of that arrogance. Maybe I should have.
Yeah. I mean, I was working it in there.
But are you guys really selling? Sounds like you're just showing up and putting up your stuff.
Man, you're just trying to bait me.
I'm not. Like, what are you selling?
That's
though?
the kind of thing that Nate was doing when I was in here a couple of months ago.
But
it was selling. You go up against some of these people.
I know, but what are you like? I don't understand. Don't you already have it in the store and you're just going to restock?
Well, I mean, yes. No, distribution. I mean, we went over this. Distribution is not.
I don't listen. I never remember anything.
You're presenting yourself in a way to sell more products. So you might be the stuff might already be in the store, but maybe it's in the overhead. So you bring it down, put it on display.
And Dusty's mentioned secondary locations. So you got it on the shelf. They're carrying Spectracide, right?
Clip strips,
man.
End caps.
Yeah, you get an end cap, man. You're set.
I don't know what any of that is. What's clip strip or end cap?
You go into a grocery store, right?
Yeah.
And you have the aisles.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the end of the aisle, there's stuff that's facing perpendicular to that.
Oh, and you prefer that?
Well, that's a secondary location.
Especially if you walk into the store and boom, there's your ant killer right on the end cap. People are like, I'm just going to grab it.
If you take your boss in there and he sees that, you're getting a promotion.
Yeah.
Oh, so the end of the aisle is the end cap.
At least getting a handshake.
And those usually cost a lot of money to get. And now they're kind of planned at the corporate level. But I did selling at the store level. Then I did, I would sell at the corporate level. I was calling on the headquarters and setting up, hey, I'll give you guys, $50,000 if you put an end cap up at all the, of Pringles up at all the stores or that kind of thing.
This is the thing I like to do. I like to do this. Like you're allowed so many facings. Like say you go in and Wasp and Hornet Killer has 3 facings. I like to go in and like push the other people's down to 2 facings and make myself like 5 facings.
It's dirtbag tactics. It's just dirtbag tactics.
That's what I love.
It is, man. And I had to deal with stuff like that. I had to deal with these chiselers like Community Coffee coming in. Community Coffee's a nobody, and I would go in, and they had somebody like Dusty calling on them, and I would go in, and I'm like, really, Folgers is at 3 facings, and Community's got 7. But the way that you talk,
but if you weren't stocking your shelves and it was low, I was like, we got to fill in this space here.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's such dirtbag stuff, man.
But who decides how many facings you get?
It's a planogram.
Yeah, the corporate office.
What's a planogram?
A planogram is like it's like those shelves that you see at Kroger. Every spot on the shelf is mapped out on this is how many facings you're supposed to get. Now, you'd have dirt bags like this going in there trying to, chisel away your spot.
Yeah.
But the way that we would argue on those planogram things, it was like, there's a lot of data that goes into it. And the way that we would argue be like, Bob, we can't do this. Folgers is doing 63% of the sales, and we only have 58% of the facings. It was like an injustice compared to apartheid. Like this, you can't have this. This is an insult to us. This is your customers are going to hate it.
Yeah.
So that's the sales part of it.
Yeah, we'd go in with data and we'd be like, and then
And this is to the manager of the store.
No, this is to the guy at the headquarters. The Kroger. Let's say Kroger has
a district manager. He might have several stores. Would you go to the district manager?
District manager was a thing back in the like a retail. He had like 10 stores.
Yeah,
I would go to the buyer that's making the decision for 150 stores.
Okay.
But those district managers back in the day, I'm not sure they did used to have some juice, man.
Yeah.
If you could get with them, they had some pull. Man.
I went to a store one time, big district manager kind of thing. I was in Myrtle Beach. I got real drunk out on, and then I showed up to work. I was so hungover, but still a little drunk.
Yeah.
And I nailed those meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, I was crushing it. That district manager loved me. I was set. I was like, later on I got depressed because I had been so hungover, but I cried a little bit maybe on the way home, but it was big.
This was a district manager meeting, or this was just
the district manager was there, and then all the store managers from that area was there. And I was running through my products. I was selling it, and I was like,
you're golden for a while.
I was a rock star in there.
Yeah.
It looked good.
Did you guys work on commission?
No.
So what was your motivation to
company pride?
Love of the game.
Yeah, love of the game. Wow.
Love of the game, man. And you want to get promoted, and I moved up, and then you do make more money. But yeah, just
you had a company car.
Company car.
Company
I had a car allowance.
Did you?
They gave me a certain amount of money for a car. Yeah.
I had a company car.
Did you have a pager?
Did not
cell
have
phone.
a pager.
They would pay you some for the cell phone.
Yeah, I think I had like. Well, it was back before everybody had cell phones. I had like a card that we'd go to payphones, and you dial in your code, and then you can call anywhere you want. Yeah. What, man?
That was a different era for sure.
I don't know what, man. I don't know what's.
Aaron's probably never
Y'all were
seen
agreeing on everything, and then you said payphone, and Dusty goes, "Oh, geez."
I mean, yeah, I'm a little older than Dusty. I mean, you know, guys like me paved the way for guys like him.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
He walked so you could run.
Yeah.
If I was doing it during your day, though, I could have got real dirty, I bet.
Oh, yeah, man, because there's stuff going on at a lot of
Yeah.
stuff is going on at the store level back then. And we tended to put most of our money in TV ads. Okay. So we had the consumer sort of pull it through.
Yeah.
And then our competitors like Frito-Lay, they staffed up on guys at the store like you. So we're not in there as much as they are. And they're just pulling all kinds of.
That's a push versus a pull.
Exactly.
Right?
Push versus a pull. There's a businessman.
There you go.
And it was like, and they all had a lot of stuff, man. The Frito-Lay guys, they had a lot of like
baseball cards. I mean, baseball tickets.
They had baseball tickets.
They giving away things. Yeah, the giveaways.
Yeah, man.
Y'all do giveaways?
We a little bit. We never. Scott's always had all the giveaways.
You give away tickets to your shows back then.
I did get a few people out here and there, but it used to be like we would do these events. Like in the spring when all the pesticide stuff's ramping up and everybody would have their little tents. And I remember the Scott's guys had this giant, like 40-foot inflatable ant. And I had mosquito repellent wipes, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, mine's more useful, but theirs look good. They're grilling up.
Oh, dude, we had inflatable Sunny Light bottles.
Oh, yeah.
And I got one of those. That was, and they didn't do anything. Just put that thing, I put it up on a roof one time. And it blew over. I got a call on a Saturday. I was out fishing. I was like, "Hey, man, your Sunny Delight bottle blew off the roof."
Dang.
That's a kind of tough stuff. Yeah, I mean,
it's a 24/7. Yeah. You're always on call.
Yeah.
I was at a gas station. I can't remember where, and they had a Sour Patch Kids display, and it was a giant Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
It looked hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was just in the middle, and I was thinking, there's probably a price where this guy will just let me buy. I wanted to buy it and put it in here in the studio. So but there's a price, right? So I went up to the guy behind the counter and I was like, I know it's going to sound weird. I want to buy that Sour Patch, the display.
Yeah.
How much would you take for that? He did not speak English, but I really. So he had no idea what I was saying.
He's like, just get the candy. What do you want?
He had no clue what I was trying to say.
There's no candy inside that.
But I think there probably was a price for
that guy. For a guy working at the store.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Those guys, because the Sour Patch guy will do anything to get more sales. So be like, it broke. You know, just the Sour Patch Kid thing broke. Yeah.
You know what you needed when you went in there?
What's that?
Babble.
Oh, wow. That's good.
That's right, man.
That's very good.
Yeah. That was smooth.
I'm glad, man. Were you waiting for that?
Yeah, I figured you had a story about a guy who didn't speak English. So I'm like, I'll just let it.
Well, let me ask you a very important question, Brian.
All right.
You know what that means?
I heard very in podcast.
Very was not in there. Podcast was.
Okay.
That was Polish.
Oh.
For what?
I thought I heard muy.
It was, do you like the podcast?
Oh, okay.
And you would know that if you used Babbel. It's the language learning service that we are offered. I'm bombing on this ad read. Let's start over real quick. Hold on, real quick.
You think that there's something to reading the comments that's destroying your ability to read?
I don't know. I think it's just
maybe Nate was a real scholar before this podcast started.
I mean,
go back and watch the early episodes.
With the segue that
improved
Bates
a bunch.
gave you, man. I mean, he set it on.
He did. He teed me up. I didn't have the ad read ready, and I'm sorry about that.
It's right out of like a level 3 improv class.
Yeah, we should almost wait for another segue at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's. I mean, now it just seems like
Do you guys know the sales terms?
This summer, you can start speaking a new. Thank you, man. You probably use Babbel. You can start speaking a new language with Babbel. Why Babbel? Easy, because it works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars or thousands for a private tutor or fooling yourself with language learning apps that are a little more than games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations. You know, I took Spanish in high school. and I can conjugate a verb, but I can't talk to
anybody.
Can't talk to a person. All of Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching. Studies from Yale and Michigan State University, the two juggernauts out there. What a drop off that is. You could just say Yale, and that's more impressive. They continue to prove Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college or a master's degree from Michigan State. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversations. I've talked about this. I'm going to Brazil in October for a family wedding. I've got to brush up on some Portuguese.
Yeah.
Because that's the language that they speak down there. So here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/Nate. Get 55% off babbel.com/Nate. Babbel, BABBEL.com/Nate. Rules and restrictions may apply.
You've been talking about going to Brazil for so long that
it feels like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm almost like, how was the trip?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I've learned. This is what I've learned about being married is families plan things very differently.
Okay.
I think that's kind of part of who the family is. Now, this is an international trip. There's a reason we've had to plan it so far in advance, right? We have to get our visas and all that stuff. But Lucy's family will plan stuff. They're like, what are you doing for Christmas 2026? I'm like, dude, I have no idea. My family's like November 1st. They're like, hey, should we do something for Thanksgiving this year? Just completely different.
So they're like years out. It's like Bates Dry Bar. It's like...
What'll happen first, my dry bar or Lucy's family's Christmas plans?
Yeah.
But it's just been uncalled for, Greg, but whatever.
It's an interesting thing because you don't realize, I don't know if y'all felt this way, but you don't realize that there's something unique about the way your family does stuff until you're going up against another family. And you're like, oh, we are different in a lot of kind of profound ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You wouldn't know, Greg. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, your families are married? Oh, that's cool.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, my parents are divorced, and all kinds of relatives are divorced. So when people are like, "Oh, you're like your mom and dad get together for Thanksgiving," that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Can I throw some sales stats at you?
Sure.
What do you guys know the terms B2B and B2C?
Business to business, business to consumer.
Everybody knows that. I did not know.
I didn't know.
So what they're talking about, they're B2B.
I mean,
because they're selling to Home Depots or Lowe's.
But now, you know what? I would sell to the customer while in the store. If I saw him looking at some Roundup or something, I'd be like, let me show you this Spectracide weed and grass killer.
That's a very committed employee, though.
Yeah, I would do that.
But then they would go buy it they wouldn't buy it from you.
Right. I actually have some broken bottle out in the car if you want to.
Did you have some damages out there?
I did.
Yeah, we had damaged a lot of, man, that was like the black market. Because if you got damaged coffee cans or whatever, you'd go trade him to the diaper guy, or trade him to the, the Pringle. I had Folger stuff. And back then, like if you had a dented 39-ounce can of coffee, the grocery store didn't win it. They didn't want it, so I had to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still good coffee.
Coffee's not hurt.
And that, it was, that was going back for like $10 back then.
Why are you guys making your cans so weak?
Well, I mean, it
save the consumer a little money.
They weren't weak. They weren't weak.
Forklift drivers.
They did move to. They did move to a plastic.
Too many forklift drivers letting customers drive around.
There's probably some of that. Yeah.
What would somebody do? Like Dusty has a great garden. If he wanted to start selling his vegetables,
thank you, Brian,
to Kroger.
Yeah.
How do you get into a major grocery store with your product?
Kroger, hey, I got 5 or 10 peppers down here.
Well, let's just say you kept growing, for example. Like, how does somebody get their product in a store?
Well, I mean, you got to go to the headquarters. I don't know all this stuff because obviously our stuff was all taken care of. But I mean, there's just even before you walk in there, it's got to have a UPC code. It's probably got to be pass some sort of licensing or something like that.
Who makes Kroger brand items? I just keep saying Kroger, but
Kroger, private label is I didn't care for the store brands. I've always had a problem with them because it's and to be honest, a lot of times it may be Spectracide might make.
We would make the store brand.
Make the private label store.
We would have the store brand.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, there's some of that. I don't think we did a lot of that, but I didn't care for them. It's not fair because it's their store and their product. They're stacking the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said it's like like a little league kid whose dad's the coach,
right?
He's
going to get the best position and all that,
right. Well, Timmy's terrible. Well, it's his dad.
Timmy's got the highest margins.
Yeah, you're right, man. The margins were good on that stuff.
Yeah.
And they would always bump right up against a lawsuit with us. Like if you notice, like some of those private label brands look a whole lot like Jif.
They're like Jif with a G.
Yeah. I mean,
they're called Jeff.
And it's so close, man. And we're reluctant to sue them because they're also our customer. But they would cross the line sometimes. Be like, no, guys, sorry, I don't care. You can't call it Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. It takes an average of 8 cold call attempts to reach a prospect. You guys probably never cold called.
I didn't have to cold call.
Never.
And that's why guys like Nate or my dad said that I wasn't really in sales.
Right.
But sales is not only cold calling.
Dude, cold calling is the worst.
You did it?
Yeah.
That's when I started to be like, I'm going to get fired from this job. And they switched me to a cold calling thing.
Yeah.
I was doing inbound leads.
Okay.
And then I started doing outbound, which is where I just had this list of like thousands of numbers that I had to call. And dude, I was never a guy who could do that on a phone. I would I'd just be like, hey, do y'all want it? And they'd be like, nah. I'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you.
I sold timeshares in Charleston for about a week.
Wow.
And I was like, this is not for me. I would talk to people for a long time, but when it came time to actually make the sale, I was almost like, you don't want to do it.
You get to know them. You don't
I've enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. They're going to harass you all day down there if you go. Yeah, they'll give you some stuff, but you're going to get harassed.
Yeah. Oh, where you get the trip.
Yeah, I get them to go down to the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And then because they go to the meeting, they get free stuff for their vacation.
Yeah.
But, they got to spend hours in there getting harassed by timeshare people.
Now, the yield must be pretty good on those if they keep doing that.
I think so.
That's a trope. I've seen that on a million sitcoms.
Yeah.
That storyline where they go to, let's just sit through the timeshare pitch and we'll get a jet ski or something.
Yeah.
Did they end up getting one? A timeshare?
No. But there's all those ads on, especially Sirius Radio, about there's a whole industry based on getting people out of their timeshare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy that's always like, I can get you out of your timeshare. And it sounds so convincing. I'm like, I just want to get a timeshare and then get out of it.
Yeah.
Because this guy sounds
good
because they're locked in and then they start raising rates and cleaning fees and you get stuck in there.
I didn't know timeshares were still a thing. I feel like my parents had a timeshare, but I feel like it's like
where at?
Crossville, Tennessee.
Wow. What?
Wow.
2 hours away.
What? I've stayed there. It's like a
wow.
That's the Bates family in a nutshell.
There's nothing in there. There's nothing there, is there?
Well, the Bates family would.
You live in Lebanon, but we summer in.
It's an hour 15 from Lebanon.
We summer in Crossville.
It's like I just stayed in a Hampton Inn off the freeway there on the way to somewhere.
Well, you could have stayed at my parents'
timeshare.
Stayed
in that timeshare. Yeah.
You missed out, buddy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a hot.
Did you
hot
go
summers
there with them?
A few times.
What would you guys do there?
Well, there's not a lot to do.
Board games,
shuffleboard.
Was there a lake or anything?
There's a lake around there. I think Crossville is like the retirement community of the world.
There's a lake around there.
There's a lake around there.
We didn't go to it, but there's one around.
See if this place still exists. It was called Mariner's Point.
Mariner's
Crossville?
Point. If there wasn't a lake, it's
they
called Mariner's Point.
They sold us on it.
Mariners Point Drive, Mariners Point Resort.
There, Mariners Point.
Look at that.
Was this that's pretty nice. Yeah. Did you ever walk around the lake like that?
I don't remember a lake like that, but they had a picture.
That bridge seems like it's been there since that time.
Mariners Point Resort is in the heart of the Tennessee Cumberland Plateau. Set in the midst of the Cumberland Mountains, the area's unmatched natural beauty
will
leave you breathless. Look, they're selling it on me pretty good.
Miniature
Well, you did a nice job on that read.
Golf capital of Tennessee.
Wow.
I've heard that about
is.
Crossville.
Yeah.
Is your dad a golfer?
No.
Oh.
Nah.
Dad thought it was a use of good cow pasture.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this is one for you, Greg. If you get back into sales, 63% of remember the stories told. Only 5% remember statistics. So you got to give them a good story.
That's why the mom line works.
That mom thing.
Yeah, that's why he bought his pen from Dusty, not you.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
I was going for a bigger sale.
Well,
you were swinging for the fences.
Yeah, he was wholesale.
You're a home run hitter.
Yeah.
This guy.
You know, my dad sold insurance, right? He sold Aflac for years, and the big thing that everybody wanted to sell was cancer policies because that's the big money item. But my dad lived in a more rural area where he had like these truckers and pulpwooders and all so he would sell accident policies. So an accident policy is not as big as a cancer policy, but he would sell so many that he would always be a top salesman, and he would always win the trips and all these things because he was top salesman. Because you're just getting those little sales in.
Yeah, I like that.
The irony is all those people are cancer prone too, right?
Yeah,
could have doubled down. Yeah.
But they're less prone to buy a big policy.
Yeah.
But your dad was probably really liked in town because somebody has something bad. He's the guy's going to help them out.
Because Aflac gives you cash, right? So if you get hurt, they would be like, "Hey, I went to the doctor." So they'd come see my dad, and he'd send the policy in, and then they would get like money. Yeah. And they were like, they loved it.
And Guy Slay, great name for a salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Guy was your dad's name?
Well, he went by Richard. His name's Guy. His first name's Guy.
Guy Slay. I'd buy something from Guy Slay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd buy some insurance.
That guy. Well, the other guy there, that's Guy Slay.
A lot of guys.
I don't even think he had a middle name. He was just Guy Slay.
Guy Slay.
Probably a lot of brothers. Got pretty generic there towards the end.
I don't know. This one's Guy.
Yeah.
I just remembered we used to when we'd have like decks, like a presentation, when we go in and sell like the plan for Sunny Delight for the year or whatever. And it was back in the day. It was like when PowerPoint first started, and we got real clip art happy, clip art. So every presentation we'd get from the headquarters, the first page was like it was just some clip art of like bags of money. Okay. As if the buyer was going to be like, well, Grace, hold my calls here.
Hold on.
This guy's talking about money, and I mean a lot of money. I mean, it's piled up here. It's got dollar signs on the bags, and then
like one of these this type of stuff.
That was the first slide. As if the guy. Well, hold on a second. I need to talk to this fellow.
I wasn't going to pay attention, but now I will. Now they're talking money.
You've got my attention. And then the last. The last slide was always the clip art of two hands shaking.
Oh yeah,
as if the guy's gonna be like, I don't like what you're saying, but shows us shaking hands here, so you got yourself a deal. Yeah, like that. Yeah. That was the last slide on every page. Man. We got real cute with the clip art back then.
Yeah, they love to do that sort of stuff too. They love that. We would have these sales meetings. I remember one time there was a guy on stage at the sales meeting, and he was doing this chant, and he goes, "Who's got it better than us?" And everybody said, "Nobody." And I was like, I didn't know he prepped me on this.
I just felt it.
And I feel like I didn't say nobody because I was like, all the other companies have it better than us.
Yeah.
They all seem to be doing better. Maybe you guys are not in my area, but I'm really outmanned.
Yeah.
I'm hungover.
I mean, I covered Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, and Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Right. And in each of those areas,
the research triangle.
Yeah. In each of those areas was a Scots rep. Each one of them, and I was the one covering the whole area, and they each had a Scots rep with their own employees. And then it sounds cool because I was going to fun areas, but they wouldn't give me much money for a hotel. So I would always be in the shadiest areas I mean, I stayed in some very shady Myrtle Beach places. I'm still not a big fan of Myrtle Beach because of those days.
And you're covering 3 cities, and the Scots guys only got 1.
Yeah, they got 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, why are you not got more displays? I'm like, well, the moment I leave the city, they just tear them down.
Man,
Who's got it better than us?
I was in
Scots.
I think I was in like a hotel one time doing a gig when there was like one of those Mary Kay conferences.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they get they go crazy.
The pink Cadillacs.
Yeah, but I mean, they're just
fired up.
Yeah, and you can just see right through it. Like this is all false enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody believes anything they're yelling about. Yeah,
they're just hanging out.
Yeah,
they're just coming to hang. Feels important.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's making money.
Mary Kay.
Yeah, they're making money.
Yeah,
she is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're driving the pink Cadillac, you're probably making a little money, right?
Oh yeah, man.
Is that like the top earners?
I think
pink
so.
Cadillac?
Yeah, that was the big thing back then. Is you would get a pink Cadillac.
Yeah. We would do. My mom would do like Tupperware parties.
Yeah.
Or
Pampered Chef.
Pampered Chef. We did a few of those. Yeah.
That's how Leanne Morgan started.
Comedy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would sell Tupperware,
mm-hmm.
or not Tupperware. I think maybe makeup or something. But
it might have been Mary Kay.
It might have been Mary Kay. Have the people over at her house, and she would just like murder.
Wow.
Like, I should do.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's what they said. My dad said Jerry Clower used to be a fertilizer salesman.
No.
And came to his town, and he said when Jerry Clower would come to town, people would just come in off the street to listen to this guy tell stories, and he's just selling fertilizer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that guy, he's got the greatest voice.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah. It's unbelievable.
Subject line. This is for emails. I don't know if you ever had to fire some work emails.
Oh, man.
Subject lines with more than 3 words experience a drop in opening by over 60%.
Really?
This helps me out with clubs.
Well,
please book me.
If you're sending avails, that's what you're doing. That's why I think selling pesticides really helped me when I started getting into comedy, because I'm like, I'm selling myself now, something I believe in a bit more than the pesticides. And so, yeah, I mean, I really got into.
It was the opposite for me.
Yeah.
Early on in the career, my act was nowhere near Pringles.
Oh, yeah.
You could shoot some holes in what I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I definitely, just talking to club bookers and stuff like that early on.
Oh yeah,
it was a lot easier. I've did it with corporate for a while. I decided, this was not that long ago. I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. I was like, man, I need to start getting into corporates, and I don't know how to do it. And this buddy of mine, Kent Rader, did a lot, and he was like, here's a list of some people. And I was like, I know how to do this. It's been but 20 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got on the phone for like 3 weeks, and I would just call them.
Cold call.
Yeah, it was cold calling, and it was, it's not fun, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You're calling corporations to be like.
It was like more associations and people. It was like, hey, it's whatever.
You guys feeling down? I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
and I'll come down there and entertain you.
Yeah.
Did you ever cold call comedy clubs?
Back in the day, I think I did. I mean, I'm trying to. It was back when I was like a feature act, and I would call up, and then I realized, the way to do this is to get either a comic to recommend you, which is okay, but get a club owner to recommend you. Now you got something. And I had this guy Freddie DeMarco that would just make some calls for me. That he worked he owned the comedy club in Missouri, and he made some calls for me. I remember, you guys know
you would call as him, right?
One time I did. I
because he could do a good impression of him.
I called Dorf's brother,
Andrew.
Hey, Andrew, man, you got to book this kid Greg Warren, man. He's very funny. Andrew loved Fred. All right, we'll take a look at him. Craig, this guy Greg Warren, man, very, very good. But so Fred was like, he was the guy that was like, when I went to college, that was the comedy club. And he was like, sort of like a comedy dad to me or whatever. And so I worked for him at the comedy club in the summers. I'd work the door or whatever. And then when I quit my job, I don't think Freddie ever thought I was he liked me, but I don't think I was his style of comedy, and he just didn't see it, but he liked me a lot. I knew he would take care of me, but I was like, I'm not going to use Fred's name, man. I'm going to do this on my own. So the first person I called was Colleen Quinn in Omaha. And I was like, hey, my name's Greg Warren. She's like, I don't know who you are. She said, we got a lot of guys that want to feature at these clubs. She had like 2 clubs that she was booking. And I was like, well, I know, I gave like 3 headliners that would vouch for me. And she's like, unimpressed. And I was like, right away, I was like, well, you can call Freddie DeMarco. I just right away, just,
very first time.
And she goes, listen to me. She goes, Freddie is one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends. I've known him, and he has never mentioned your name. And a lot of people say that Fred recommends them, and he doesn't. So I'm going to give you a chance right now, because I'm going to call Fred after I get off the phone. If Freddie doesn't know you, not only are you not going to work for me, there's a lot of other places you're not going to work. And I was like, it's like, yeah, you can call. Just call him. And of course, she called him, and Freddie, yeah, come on, Colin, give the kid a chance. Give the kid a chance. And so she called me like 30 seconds later. She's like, okay, I have you in Omaha on this date, and I have you in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like completely switched. And
she's great.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's like she's so cool, man.
Yeah.
And she loves you, man.
I
happened to be no, I just wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
When
we were just there together not long ago.
I was in town for doing a corporate hate space, but no. Erin was coming through for the first time, and I happened to be in town for like a corporate, and we did radio together, and she had never seen Erin and really liked him. But I would say she's one of the few club owners that still loves stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
She loves comedians, and she loves stand-up comedy. She'll watch shows, and she's just a fan of the whole thing.
Stand-up comedy and Liquid Death.
Liquid Death, the water.
Yeah.
Her son Dan is like the number 2 guy in that company.
Oh yeah,
crazy, great club.
Oh, it's fun, man. Yeah.
So that's all sales. Here's a good sales tech. 91% of customers say they would give a referral if the salesperson asked, but only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals.
Say that. Okay.
So in this case, Freddie would be the customer.
The referral.
Yeah. If you asked for him to give you a referral, he would have. But most people don't ever ask anyone to give them a referral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always like, used to always be looking for a referral.
Yeah.
Who's not asking for referrals?
I don't know, man. You do feel like you're bugging people at some point.
Every time I get a rental car, the person at Enterprise goes, please fill out this survey and put my name down. It's the only way I can advance in this company.
They say that? Really?
Oh, yeah. They're like, this is huge for us. This is how we get. And I always go, yeah, I got you. And I've never done
they
it.
never asked me for that. And maybe I look like a guy that's not going to be doing it.
Yeah, he like this guy's going to. I try not to rat anybody out almost ever.
Yeah.
Even if it's the worst customer service ever.
Right,
and I'm just like, you know what, man? There's been times when I've performed horribly or whatever. I don't want people telling on me. So I just really, and even though I'm furious, I'm like, this was a horrible situation. I'm not going to tell on you.
If people are really rude to me though, I will do it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
The funny thing is though, now
Southwest, I've done it to Southwest.
Have you?
Yeah.
Now though, everything that you do, there's a survey. Like every time you buy, hey, how do we do? So you would think with all these surveys out there that customer service would be improving markedly, and it's not. I don't think they get the point of these surveys. I don't think they're actually reading the surveys.
I listed the guy's name one time, and I go, I don't want him to be fired. I don't think he should be fired.
Right.
I just want someone to be like, hey, don't do this to people.
Yeah.
You know?
He got fired.
yeah. Well, he should be fired.
Yeah.
I went to a Chick-fil-A at the Albany airport this weekend, and it was just, the most unfriendly people working.
Yeah.
It kind of
Albany?
Yeah.
New York?
At a Chick-fil-A at the airport.
Oh, okay.
And when you think Chick-fil-A, it's almost synonymous with like over-the-top friendly customer service.
Yeah.
So I kind of enjoyed how rude it kind of made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because it blindsided me.
Mm-hmm. I remember that because it used to be before Starbucks, now it's just, there's just, in the last 2 or 3 years since the pandemic, nobody can get anybody to work anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, 10 years ago, Starbucks they were always the most friendly people in the world.
Really? They were known for that?
Amazingly.
I felt like too.
I don't remember that.
High-end customer service, except at the airport. Except there and in New York City. Like those 2 places in their employee manual is like, hey, you need to treat customers with respect. Unless
you're in New York.
You're in New York, then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like that was good too. Starbucks is not that way now, for sure.
No,
I never knew that was part of their
They seem
brand.
like they're so overworked. They're all like
completely over. You can't complain about them because there's there's a billion of them, a billion customers and 2 kids. What
they're
are you gonna
running
do?
around the whole time. And
they're hustling.
You got to imagine all I would get at Starbucks is black coffee. So you got to imagine I see the drinks people order, and then they complain that it's not like they make their own drink and then complain that it's not good. Yeah. It's like, well, you made this.
Yeah, this is on you, bro.
Yeah. This is not the way you make a Greg special.
Yeah. What about LinkedIn? Do you guys ever use that or use it now?
That was way after I was out of the game.
Mm-hmm. I have an account.
I got an account now.
I was trying to make jokes on it for a while. People are not there for that.
No.
I always forget I have one.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a tip, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that I learned on this last special. You know that Nextdoor app?
Yeah.
Okay. I just for fun, when my special came out, I was like, well, I'm trying to get everybody to watch this thing. And I just put a link up on Nextdoor and just said, hey, guys, I'm your neighbor. I'm a comedian. I recorded this thing. You guys might want to check it out. And I'm not kidding, man. A ton of people watch that thing. That's where.
Oh, you were going to say it's good because see, I'm seeing just a disaster. Like now, everybody in the neighborhood knows you.
No, I mean. No, because it's not like you see these. I don't know any of them.
Yeah,
but I mean, because it's a pretty big area, at least where I'm. But it's just a way to get a bunch of views on your special. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the next deal, right?
Okay,
there. Yeah.
When I started doing comedy, I thought I need to dive into this. I'm just gonna burn just make my LinkedIn like a joke, so I can never go back. Like get rid of the safety net. My LinkedIn, like somebody endorsed me for tap dance as one of my skills. And then a bunch of real ones, but then like neck, I don't even know what that is.
And toilets,
wheelchairs, learning disabilities, love of learning, puppies.
Oh, two
ballet and Latin dance. I was like, yeah, my LinkedIn's just a wash, dude.
That's great.
How many followers do you have?
I don't know if they're connections is what they're called.
How many connections?
I don't know. I haven't logged on to this in years.
It said 269.
You look at my job right now as a janitor at the School of Hard Knocks.
All right.
Just an internship, but I've been working there.
Since 69.
Working there for 54 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a mess.
Dude. You do all this, man. There's a couple times where you post something on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and I'm like, I believe it.
Well, there's a comment just made about your video. Apparently, never talked about on the podcast, but your Key and Pill kind of video that went viral.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah. Do you ever see that one where it's like the Key and Pill kind of people who've been affected by?
Yes, I saw that. That was great, man.
Thanks,
that was fun. Yeah,
but the one that a lot of people believed was the one with the crowd work with the guy where you ask him how much money he made.
Oh, yeah. That was Brad Sativa sitting in an empty Zanies at noon.
Yeah.
I did a video making fun of crowd work, essentially.
Oh, because everybody's doing it now.
Yeah, where it's just me asking, how much money do you make? And he's like, doesn't answer me. Or so it was just like very stupid. And that went very viral.
A club used it for his promo video.
Oh,
no way,
dude. The whole
God.
point of the video is it's me purposefully doing bad comedy.
That's great.
And I was doing the Stress Factory, and they used that clip, and they're like, come see Aaron in his crowd work. And I was horrified. And within an hour, there were like 5 comments going, this guy's horrible.
Yeah.
And I go, that's the point, is that it's a joke. I asked him,
Bates
please.
was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I wish I'd have thought of that.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff.
I was always told when to email clubs, don't do it like on Monday morning. They said that would be the worst time because after the long weekend, that's the last time they're going to be going through that.
Yeah, or I heard don't ever email them on Saturday because they know you're not working.
Well, that's a good point.
This one guy told me, he was a club owner. He said that this guy, I guess it was some guy that had worked the club before, and he thought the best way to do it, best way for me to get back in there is to have a bunch of my friends call and be like, hey, man, why don't you bring back Larry? Bring Larry back. But they were all calling the owner's cell phone.
That only you would have been able to get.
The only way that he, these friends were posing as fans. But, man, I really liked that guy when I saw him. I was like, no. You call the club. You say that.
This is
so fun.
This is what I like to do. I like to go like in the subject, like clean comic from Nashville, something like that, where I'm like, I'm trying to, because I was figure it's probably harder to find clean comics. So like, let me just put it right out there.
When you were trying to get work?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, for sales calls, it said the worst days of the week, Monday mornings from 6 to noon or Fridays afternoon. I think that makes sense.
Friday afternoon makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Best days to call are Wednesdays or Thursdays. But this says either from 6:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'd be furious if somebody called me that early.
6:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Or from 4 to 6 p.m.
Hey, you getting ready for work? Well, let me pitch you on some stuff. Put your Bluetooth in. I'll talk to you while you're tying your tie.
I used to call when I didn't start till mid 2000s, so I barely got in on the whole calling thing. But Zanies used to once a month, if you want to get on the open mics, you call like the first Monday of the month at 1 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ron Carson, I don't know if you guys remember.
Ronnie. Yeah,
I know Ron.
I called and I didn't even know like what I was supposed to say. And he's like, "Are you calling about the open mic?" And I'm like thinking, this isn't an open mic. This is Zanies. This is a big deal. So I'm like, no, I'm calling about getting on the thing, whatever. And he got so frustrated with me that he just hung up the phone on me. And at the time, I was so mad. I thought, if I ever make it big, I'm going to boycott Zanies or something like that.
Yeah, you going to take it to him?
Yeah. And then
shut him down, Bates.
3 months later, not only I realized I wasn't going to do that, I realized he was right to be so frustrated with me because I didn't know what I was doing. I was holding up the line.
Yeah. And he died a few years ago.
Ronnie did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So how does that make you feel?
Well, I wasn't going to bring up that point, but
he's a nice guy.
One of these days, I'm going to stick it to him.
Yeah.
Rest his soul.
Yeah.
Back when I lived in LA, that you had to, if you want to go up on the open mic, you had to show up at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
You had to show up at noon, or they just form a line, but they would start getting in line at like noon, 10 a.m.
Wow.
And you had to wait outside all day long because the owner liked to, like people to drive by and see something's happening at the Laugh Factory. So you stand out there, and it was you and a few comics, but there's also just homeless guys that would go up on the open mic because they just had nothing else to do.
Wow.
I'm going to be standing somewhere.
Yeah,
Might as well be in a line.
Yeah, they were like, I didn't even realize I was in a line here.
Yeah. I did it one time. It was a long, long day.
How'd it go?
I did well. Because I was like one of two legitimate comedians in the group of 15 or whatever. And then it was just kind of a scam. They were like, okay, well now you made it to the next level where you don't have to wait in line. And then, you'd get to the next level and you do well. And they'd be like, do you have a manager? I'm like, yeah, I got a manager. And then that was about it. They were kind of looking for people to manage.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was in New York City just visiting for fun, but hanging out at comedy clubs. And one of the days I was there, they did one of those auditions at Caroline's where you go stand in line all day. I can't remember what it was, but I'm like, well, I'll go do this. I got down there that morning and the line was so long. And after maybe 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm only in New York a few days. Do I really want to spend all day here just standing in this line? So I just left.
Good for you.
And I went and sightseed, whatever else I was going to do. And I came back that was like 8:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock that afternoon. The guy who was standing in front of me was still in line.
Oh, wow.
And I was glad. I did not regret that.
You go up and you go, you see my spot? I'm just going to get back in line. You don't mind, right?
Yeah, worth trying.
Yeah.
What was it for? Did you know at the time what it was for?
Yeah, it was one of those, I can't remember now.
Is that guy in line famous now?
I don't
Wouldn't that be something?
Was it the NBC Stand Up for Diversity showcase?
I could spend there all day. Like, no, white guys, no. I don't remember what it was, but at the time I knew. It was one of those, like, remember CISO, that channel that short-lived? I think
Juggernaut.
They were doing some type of, they were just going for content. They were going to do live from Caroline's or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, all the stuff that I think I remember doing. I remember America's Funniest Home Videos or something one time. I was just in Houston in a park and we just, wait in line and you do something, you just do something silly, and I didn't think anything of it. And I don't know, like 2 years later, my buddy's like, hey man, I saw you on this America's Home Videos or something like that. It was just like
AFV?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was was terrible what I did. I guarantee it was terrible.
You didn't win the $10,000.
No,
or whatever the prize money was.
No.
The Bob Saget days. Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was,
Oh,
it was some show like it. Maybe it was like whatever the thing that was copying off.
What a time he had. America's Funniest Home Videos and
Full House.
Full House at the same time. Oh, big time.
Killing it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in sales, I always wanted, because I sold pesticides, I always wanted to be like a beer rep. I always felt like the beer reps had it going on.
Yeah.
That seemed cool.
Yeah.
And they were doing a bit of manual labor, but it seemed much cooler. That was where my ambition was at the time.
Really?
I'd like to get out of the pesticide game into a
different
alcohol.
poison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always wanted to do. I like sales though, in a sense. Not that I don't want to be cold calling, but I liked what I was doing.
Yeah, it sounds like you were good.
Yeah, I liked it. I was into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
You got to believe in your product, right?
Yeah, and if the product was good, I always say bad things about the company because they made me mad, but the products were great.
Yeah.
I still buy Spectracide. I can't bring myself to buy the competitors.
Me
products.
too. Me too. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Man, we had Duncan Hines, the cake mixes and
Mhm.
brownie mixes and stuff. I mean, cake mix was the main part of the baking mix category, cake and frosting. And I would just bake. I got into baking.
Oh yeah.
And I would just bring in cakes for the secretaries. I mean, I was every time I walked into an appointment, I had a cake or cookies or something like that. And they thought it was cute that like a 22-year-old boy was baking.
Oh yeah.
And Richard, you need to put this flavor in. He made a good cake.
Oh, well, that's the way
Yeah,
to go.
yeah,
yeah.
it was-
yeah,
I
you're
was-
working it.
Yeah, I was like a 1950s cheerleader that was sweet on a football player or something. I just always
Oh,
showing up with baked goods all the time. you
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, I could make a good cake with frosting. I'm not a real good froster, but
You still baking?
yeah.
Okay.
No, I bake a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I just made my dad. You guys heard of rugelach before?
Rugelach.
My dad grew up in New York. He was Jewish, and there's like a cookie that they make up. My grandma used to make called rugelach, and I learned how to make it,
Ooh.
and he loves it.
Oh, that looks
I make
delicious.
it
I
for
may
him
have
on-
had that before
on
and
his
not
birthday.
known what that's called.
Yeah, or Father's Day, and man, I made it for Father's Day. He loves that stuff, man. It is not easy. It's like basically it's almost like you're making a pie crust, and then you roll it up with stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, and you gotta let the dough chill the night before. I think that's a tough day.
A labor of love.
Yeah, I made a French silk pie for Thanksgiving this past year, and that's the best thing I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really
Oh yeah.
man and it's a lot of work. And I'd buy like new equipment.
Oh, okay. I'm not a baker. I can't bake. I can cook, but I
Can
can't
you?
bake. I'm not a baker.
I'm interested in the garden. Do you?
Yeah. I'm growing some stuff.
What do
You
you
should
got?
work
I
together.
got tomatoes. I got peppers. I got all kind of peppers.
You got
I
any
got all kind
broccoli?
of tomatoes. I never been successful at broccoli. I've grown.
I heard it's hard.
grown a few carrots, some beets, cucumbers,
Grapes.
grapes. I got grapes
Really?
growing. Yep. I got strawberries.
Really?
I got
Strawberries?
all kind of herbs, thyme, basil. Let's see. I got a watermelon growing right now. I got a squash growing.
Man, I'm real impressed with all this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into. I got kale and lettuce. I go out and cut down a stalk of lettuce, and then we just able to make a salad just right out of the right from the
That's
garden.
pretty- that's
Amazing.
pretty
Chop
great.
up some cucumbers. Oh man, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do that.
I mean, I'm near about trying to sell to Kroger. You know what I mean? That's where
You got-
I'm at.
yeah?
I'd like to go down and go, hey, how much you give me for 4 peppers? Because
man, I called on him.
I got all I can handle.
I don't know if I still got any.
Connections.
I'm making
connections.
pickles now. I got pickles in the fridge because I've been into sandwiches lately. I mean, I'm back into
I've
sandwiches.
been into
What, you
sandwiches.
growing sandwiches.
Well, I stopped eating sandwiches for a while, and now I've just gotten back into it, and it is. I like to get artsy with the sandwich. You know,
Yeah.
how you fold the meat and stack the cheese.
How you cut it?
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
cut it diagonally?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
always got to be a diagonal cut.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
put a toothpick in there.
I don't do the toothpick, but
Okay.
I usually eat it too fast for the.
What kind of
toothpick.
bread you using?
Well, I like a sourdough bread,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
there's a Dave's.
Dave's Killer bread.
Yeah,
Dave's
sprouted
Killer
grains.
bread.
That is the
Man.
best.
That is.
I'm
that
just
is-
realizing y'all have never been on the podcast at the same time.
yeah,
No?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm enjoying y'all hitting it off.
Dave's Killer Bread is
it is good,
and it has got some. It'll stand up to whatever you put.
Killer.
I recommend peanut butter sandwich with Dave's Killer Bread on it.
Yeah,
or peanut butter on the Dave's Killer Bread. That's good bread, right?
It is good bread.
Put a little Jiffy on there.
Yeah, man. It's not that funny.
That was honest mistake. That's it.
You said that joke before.
Boom.
Callback.
All right. Well, I'm going to be in Austin, Texas this weekend at the Paramount Theater on Saturday. I have one show.
Wow.
One show.
Huge.
Very excited about it. So I need it to sell out so I look good and so that it's more fun.
Man, that's going to be, you're going to love it.
I'm so pumped.
Austin's.
I did it years ago with Burt Kreischer. So I'm pumped to be going back now. Doing it myself.
That's amazing.
So that's exciting.
That's one of my favorite towns.
This Saturday, whatever that date is, I'm going to look just to really solidify it here. Let's see.
It's like it's selling really well.
There's barely any seats left.
Dusty,
man.
it's selling really well.
All right.
Plug something else, man. You're close.
Yeah. There's some room in the balcony, but other than I'm just kidding. It looks really good.
Hey,
that's awesome.
I mean, I'm pumped. If August 5th. Saturday, August 5th. That's where I'll be.
Big time.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
You got a great bio. Did you write this yourself?
I hate that bio, actually.
Yeah.
Somebody else wrote it, and I've been trying real hard to get that bio to go away.
No, it's never going to go away.
I know. I
got some old ones that somehow they find them.
Yeah, I got a new one now on my website that I like a lot better, but I hate this one.
No, mine. Yeah,
I don't. It's out of date. First,
makes you look like you're 36.
They've added some stuff here at the end.
Yeah.
They got your Netflix special on here. Yeah, this is new. But it's very poetic.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job. At the time, I was doing a lot of trailer park jokes. I was all right with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'd like it to go away.
It's not going away.
I know it won't.
It's not going away.
August 27th, I'm in Irwin, Pennsylvania at Community Church. Little backyard picnic and comedy from me, a little back to school thing. And then September 2nd, Appleton, Wisconsin at Skyline Comedy Club.
Oh, nice, dude. Have you been up there before?
I've been there once with Dustin Nickerson.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
It's my first time headlining.
It's a great club.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
You can go up to Lambeau. Lambeau's close by.
Yeah.
We
check it out.
We toured it last time, but
okay.
But maybe I'll do it again.
Great gift shop there at Lambeau.
It is. Good restaurants in there.
Me and Aaron ate somewhere in that town one time, just at some random place. We didn't even go all the way to the stadium. We just
in Green Bay.
Yeah, we just stopped on the way back from probably like Harris, Michigan.
Oh.
Or maybe Egg Harbor.
That was a wild trip.
Yeah.
This weekend, this Sunday night, I'm headlining Denver Comedy Works downtown.
Right. Downtown one? Yeah.
The downtown one.
Larimer Square, man.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, you can't beat that club.
That's so good.
I'm very excited to be there. So if you are in the Denver area, come on out. And then after that, if you'll allow me to just quickly throw some dates out. I just want everybody to know where I'll be.
I don't have any control.
August is going to be. Yeah, it feels good. There's no one here to like pressure me into doing this quickly. We can kind of settle in. This is Aaron Land. Let's just settle in here.
Let's move it along.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's do it right now.
Yeah. I mean, look, we are trying to leave. It's just going to be. August is very exciting. Because from now to the end of the year, I got a bunch of dates. August is Denver, and then I'm in Louisville. Then I'm in Cleveland doing hilarities for the first time.
Man,
which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Improv.
That's a great club.
And then Boston, I'm doing Laugh Boston. And then I got a show in Cape Cod in Cotuit, Massachusetts. So if you're in any of those areas, come on out.
All right.
Lansing, Michigan State?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to all the Spartans out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug one date.
Okay.
I'm going to be August 16th. I'm going to be at Zany's, Nashville.
Nice.
If Bates hadn't shut him down by then. I'm going to be doing a show at Nashville, and I'm real excited about it. I love that club.
Oh, that's
love
awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Let's pack that out.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, you opened, you closed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, how about a thank you to our sponsors, AG1 and Babbel.
Yeah.
They brought this episode to you.
Part of Millions of Mornings.
This is a fun. I enjoyed. All right.
Okay.
It is tough to dismount.
Not that tough.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Brian. Good work.
Thank you.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Thanks, guys. I love being here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.